According to our kind hosts, our dreams are a group psychosis, sort of a mellow mass hysteria. The fact that we all back we all dreamt about this guy before we ever met doesn't seem to impress anybody. So we go in circles, making minimal progress with maximum effort.
You won't make any progress until you recognize your dreams for what they are.
Hello. All right, I'm streaming now. And I finished my food just as the stream started, so that's great. I didn't think I'd have enough time to eat my food before everything started, but I got it all in, so now I'm not hungry. I'm very thirsty though, because what I just ate was very spicy. So I'm gonna top myself off right quick. But yeah, I'm gonna be streaming. Not too long, I guess. Probably longer than yesterday. Not tomorrow. The one I did yesterday was a bit short, so this one might be slightly longer, but not too long, because I didn't start late. I thought I would have started earlier, but things happen, and I had to eat. But we're gonna continue where we left off. We killed one boss yesterday, but it was an essential boss that should help me in some other boss fights that I'm going to be having on this stream. But like I've been doing for the past week, I'm going to have something playing in the background because I predict I will be dying a lot. So just to mix up the ambiance and the noise, we're going to have some stuff on YouTube to mix it up. I'm just gonna have people talking about Elden Ring. I might switch over to a screen if there's something I want to show them. But anyway, let me actually put something on. There's been a bunch of fucking long form material since the recent story trailer. So, but a lot of that's just too long. Like it's 3-hour streams talking about the DLC. I don't know if I'll have that in the background, but we'll have some other stuff. I was also watching some fighting game Salt with Tekken in Mortal Kombat 1. Mortal Kombat 1 looks terrible. I don't even want to try that game. I can play it for free though, because it's like available on Game Pass. I got hiccups because of my drink, but yeah, I can play it for free on Game Pass, I believe. Okay, this guy is named Emotional John. Aw, poor John. I hope he didn't get a Dear John letter. Is that why he's in military? You get told about Dear John letters a lot. That's a warning when you join the military. A lot of people I knew got a bunch of Dear John letters when I was in the military. Basically, Dear John letters like, oh, your girlfriend's still back at home, or your wife even, they're still back at home while you're serving or overseas, and they send you a letter saying, well, they found someone else. And hope there's no hard feelings. Oh, and please be on time with that alimony. Just because your heart's broken doesn't mean you don't have to be fiscal and pay me on time. That shit. Anyway, this guy's named Emotional John, so we're gonna play his shit. This is called Is the Land of Shadow and Interstice? Interesting theory.
So the new lore trailer for Shadow of the Erdtree dropped this week, and it gave us all sorts of information, however vague. But before we start, I want to say I'm not really a lore guy, so I don't want to give the impression that I've studied this too much, but I want to give my initial impressions and thoughts about what the DLC is going to look like based on this trailer, and talk about a specific concept I'm hoping they'll explore. First off, the opening seems to depict America's ascension to godhood through some sort of seduction and betrayal. Whatever she's reaching into seems vaguely womb-like and draped in a cloth that looks to me like it could possibly be godskin.
I hope the volume's alright. I'm gonna rewind it a little bit. Okay. I just wanted to adjust the volume. I hope it's not too low, though, either. I noticed that, like, some of the volume was a bit too loud last time I did this, but I don't want it to be low either.
Questions and thoughts about what the DLC is going to look like based on this trailer, and talk about a specific concept I'm hoping they'll explore. First off, the opening seems to depict America's ascension to godhood through some sort of seduction and betrayal. Whatever she's reaching into seems vaguely womb-like and draped in a cloth that looks to me like it could possibly be godskin, though I'm not especially confident that's the case. After taking the strands of gold, America walks over a mass of corpses and holds the strands up in a shape that is reminiscent of the Elden Ring. With the corpses piled on either side, it appears she's creating the Erd Tree, as the opening looks a lot like where we enter the Erd Tree and find America. At this point, the trailer talks about the creation of gold, also creating shadow. I've seen it speculated that the Land of Shadow is some sort of spirit realm, and this line gives a little more weight to that theory. Specifically, there is something that has bothered me about Elden Ring's lore since before release. When we first saw the symbol of the Golden Order, the interconnecting rings, there was speculation it would relate to Berserk, as so much Souls lore does. The relation revolves around Berserk's depiction of the interconnectivity of the different realms, where each realm has the potential to overlap with another, as well as beings having the ability to exist in multiple realms simultaneously. But the base game never really got into any other realm of existence, instead focusing on the relationships between all the various factions and the lands between. We've heard about the demigod children and the shattering and the physical nature of their conflicts, but next to nothing about other planes of existence or where these godly powers came from beyond the greater will's actions through America. I am personally hopeful that the Land of Shadow will exist as an astral world, with the area where the DLC will take place acting as an interstice, the low point of that astral world where it overlaps significantly with the physical world of the lands between. I could be reaching, but it makes sense to me. Just the imagery of America climbing the corpses to attain her ascension feels so much to me like Griffith in The Eclipse, an act that itself brought the astral world to overlap with the physical in a very chaotic fashion. Demons and magic became commonplace, bringing great power and terror to a realm once dominated by men. The trailer doesn't give us too much information, though, but it does say specifically that as gold rose, so too was shadow born. I'm taking that to mean that by stealing grace and embracing the Elden Ring, Shadow was given physical form. This reminds me of outer gods, who don't explicitly have a physical form, but absolutely exist. For example, when Moog reaches into the Formless Mother and pulls out their blood as an attack, I've always taken it as him reaching into an overlapping astral world across a barrier that can only be breached by magic or metaphysical forces.
So he's reaching into the Formless Mother when he does that?
I don't think the Formless Mother has any specific location relative to the physical world. It's stated that Moog encountered the Formless Mother underground, but the magic works for the Tarnished in any location. This all makes me believe that the Land of Shadow is some type of interstice, or at least contains one where the physical and astral overlap.
They lived all their lives.
To further this point, later in the trailer, the narrator discusses Nicola abandoning their physical form along with everything else, including their fate, presumably a Saint Trina, to pursue their goal. But if physical beings can travel to the Land of Shadow, why did Nicola need to do this? Possibly this is a trait unique to Nicola's eternal youth, or some other limitation that prevents physical traversal.
He couldn't get away from Moog, so he decided to leave his flesh.
Mesmer's tyrannical
that might be why.
War over the Land of Shadow, or America's creation of the Erd Tree, the way into the Land of Shadow was locked or lost.
He took him out of the
it
tree.
Could be that Nicola needed to become a spirit, take on a purely metaphysical existence, to travel into the Land of Shadow, and by following in their footsteps, we Tarnished, as physical beings, can follow. To go back to Berserk, conceptually a creature's ego can only travel so deep into the astral world before losing any sense of individuality. What we see in the trailer suggests to me that all of those events are physical. America's taking of grace, Mesmer's war on the Land of Shadow, the followers of Nicola tracing his residual grace. Since these are things we, as players, are expected to encounter in some form, I suspect it can't be all spirits all the time. Beyond America's ascension to godhood reminding me of Griffith, so does Nicola. In fact, I am constantly finding myself confusing Nicola and America as the same person. I don't actually think they are, but I think it makes sense that Nicola is trying to repeat what America did. The formation of the Haywood Tree, the multiple identities, acting as an Empyrean to attain godhood, it all feels like a like-parent, like-child scenario. Vati made comparisons between Nicola and Griffith in a recent lore video, and I'm in agreement. The pretty boy with grand ambitions, manipulating the hearts and minds of others to get what they want, inspiring love and awe in those who follow them. If the trailer does depict America's ascension, we can presume Nicola's would not be so different, costing countless lives for the sake of power and a new form. That's all just to say that I'm assuming
people want
to
just make everything in the fucking game one-to-one with
where the spirit and material world
there's some slight, subtle references to the fact that everything is going to be one-to-one, especially the fucking story.
Possible that all of the lands
the story itself is not going to just be
interstice, and that what we are considering the Land of Shadow is just a deeper portion that has been concealed. Another thing the trailer stood out to me was how imposing Mesmer is. The guy has fire snakes flying through the sky and leading the flaming wicker men in battle against the Omen-esque forces. Him clearly earning his Impaler moniker by putting his enemies on spikes. It's very draconian, very Dracula. I am a little confused about how he impaled the lion dance creatures. I was assuming they would function as multiple people inside, but if they're the ones on those spikes, it's not clear whether or not multiple bodies are present. I guess you can see the robes connected to other spikes, so maybe they impaled them while they acted together and just left them loosely connected. I could be misreading that, but it stuck out to me. I also wonder what exactly Mesmer's role is in regard to America. We know he's one of her children, but the timeline is murky. The war is happening right after the presumed creation of the Erd Tree, but because it takes place in the Land of Shadow, I'm not certain about what purpose it served. My initial thought was that it might be a war to subjugate the Crucible and its people, and the fact that they now only exist in the Land of Shadow might be related to America veiling the land to hide it away. Why she'd want to hide it away and leave Mesmer to possibly guard it, I assume it might have something to do with it being a place where godhood can be attained. Maybe she wanted to prevent others from achieving what she achieved, and the fact that Nicola is aware of all these events in some capacity would suggest that they know exactly how to achieve godhood. It's also possible that it's just being concealed to cover up the war crimes, or maybe in an attempt to prevent aspects of the Crucible
he just followed
spreading.
America there.
Whatever the reason, I'm sure it's important, or else I
He
can't
just followed
imagine
America
making
there,
your war god son stay there forever and otherwise pretend he doesn't exist. There is still the question of who impaled America in the Erd Tree, and Mesmer is a likely culprit. It's possible there was some sort of conflict, falling out, or maybe an attempt to restrict the greater will acting through America. This would also pose Mesmer as a strong opposition to Nicola, and no matter how powerful Nicola might be, Mesmer might be capable of stopping them so long as they have a physical form. I'm just blindly speculating, but there is precedent for infighting between demigods. Nicola's goal could be to liberate America, and if Mesmer stands between him and that goal, abandoning a physical form might be the best way to get around the losing battle. The trailer does suggest that Nicola's followers may believe their leader abandoned his goal, and they choose to follow in his footsteps undeterred. What those footsteps lead to for lesser beings, I am not sure. I'm also wondering if those golden standards that are almost certainly Nicola's Great Rune might act like those white trees that use footsteps to lead us to secrets. Maybe interacting with them will show us Nicola's golden footsteps and lead us on the path. I wonder if we'll be following a golden trail and finding each of the NPCs shown along the way, each giving some little insight into their relationship to Nicola and his goals. I still have no idea what the Shadow Tree is, if it's just how the Erd Tree looks when viewed from the inside of the veil, acting as a dark half that's otherwise unseen. The golden sap running through looks like grace, and the way the destroyed city floats up toward it could suggest that it feeds on destruction in some capacity. The war Mesmer waged is referred to as unseen, which suggests it occurred while the veil was up, or possibly that it was just unseen to anyone not directly involved. It's also said it can't be put into song, further suggesting a secret or horrible nature. Who America betrayed or who she was betrayed by is a mystery, though I suspect it may be another god that existed before her, possibly without form. There's so much about the formation and birth of gods that is unclear in this game, and I'm really hoping we get some further elaboration. It's the sort of thing where I usually think less is more, but in this case I wouldn't mind them laying out the birth or ascension of a god. That was a really great conclusion to Bloodborne's Old Hunters DLC, and I wouldn't be surprised if we got an encore of sorts. Beyond that, the trailer was mostly just cool. Lots of powerful imagery, lots of implications, and lots of obscurity and narrative. Typical FromSoft stuff. I'm excited. I know my last video was a little more negative, but I really do love this game, and the DLCs for Souls games are always the best parts. I'm a little sad they haven't said anything more about mechanics, which just confirms for me that there aren't going to be any changes. In any case, I'm sure it's going to make for a fun few months. Otherwise, those are all my initial thoughts on the trailer. If you liked the video, please consider liking and subscribing. Like I said, I'm not much of a lore guy, but I do obey Souls YouTuber law and must therefore make content around any new game or DLC information. I'm sure my rambling will be better conveyed or contradicted by creators with a little more time on their hands. I'm far from certain about any of these ideas, but if you think there's any merit to the ideas around the Land of Shadow being a spirit or astral world, or if you have your own theories, please leave a comment down below.
But no, I think the things there are
getting to find out for ourselves, and it's finally starting to feel
also
real.
overlaps.
Until then, thank you for watching.
It's like it's just separated by like dimension, but everything there is actually physical. I don't believe it's all just metaphysical shit. It's just separated by dimension. Like they severed part of the original inhabitants into some other dimension, and there's different parts of the original landscape that got sealed off too. But they didn't want people to remember, I guess. Okay, fuck you. Fuck you. Alright. Let's see what else we got. I guess we'll listen to Sinclair Lore since I've been stalling on them for the longest time. I've been wanting to listen to them. I just haven't. Where are you, Sinclair Lore? I think I have them somewhere. Oh, well, let's look at this one. This is like a half-hour story trailer analysis. This is from somebody named Artefacta. Okay. I don't know who they are.
È uscito da un paio di giorni lo story trailer del DLC.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't speak that. It's in English, though. This video title is in English. But he's clearly speaking. I think he's speaking Portuguese. Or is that Italian? It's hard to tell sometimes. For me, it's hard to tell. Not hard for any native speaker, I guess. Yeah, he's Italian. Bellissima. Okay. Okay. Well, we won't watch that then. Because I won't be able to keep up. This is It's K. That's a short little reaction though. Not gonna look at that. The Hungry Gamers, I thought I already watched them, but they got a new thing.
Hi to everybody.
There's a
I
bear
didn't
here.
say hi to everybody.
a new
Hello,
video.
everyone, and
We're
welcome.
already here. We're already here.
Okay, let me get
They're
coffee.
playing Elden Ring.
I need to get a copy.
They're talking about the DLC. Lower that volume. Okay.
Oh, he's fast. Not fast enough.
Okay.
I'm so bad. Okay.
No, they're not. This is like a edited sort of funny clip video. Never mind. I'm gonna get off of this one. I did watch them before though.
Oh, we know it has to.
This is Old Man Games Badly. Okay. That's only 4 minutes. Old Man Games Badly is a great name. I might subscribe just for the name. He is a little bit in his years, bit of gray in that beard, but he looks cool. I'd watch him. Nikki B. Chillin is another person. There's another VTuber. Plenty of VTubers reacted to this. XQC. Did I look at Gore the Movie God? I think I did, but let's look again. I might click that again. I'm really just looking for Sinclair lore. I have them somewhere in here. Here they are. I found them. Okay. They got a long form video, so I can fight this boss pretty confidently while they talk.
Hi, Sophie here, just letting everybody know that this episode was recorded a little off the cuff, and consequently I didn't ask the guest to introduce herself. So, our guest for this episode was Saint Trina, who we've had on the channel a few times before. She's an Elden Ring YouTuber, and you can find her channel at Saint Trina Lore.
Oh, Saint Trina has their own channel. Okay.
So we were supposed to record this a couple of days ago. And then we had to push it back, and then fortuitously, the trailer dropped in between those. So we're going to talk about the trailer now.
That's very important.
So this is gonna come out before the real episode we're doing. This is just our reaction to the trailer.
Okay, so 2 videos.
Okay. Yeah, I'll cut it in half.
Okay, cool.
Let me drink in peace.
What were your impressions?
The absolute highlight for me is like the first shot. Or the first sequence of shots with America. And she seems to be reaching her hand into some kind of like God Gina type.
God Gina.
I don't really know what to call it, but it looks like God skin.
That's a good word.
And we're gonna have to get into that in specific, but I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. So, what was your initial?
Great nomenclature.
Yeah, so like I felt like that the first trailer it looked like more of Elden Ring.
Well, it just not stop.
That's what my girlfriend said.
This one looks like it's going back into things that the main game kind of touched on and then didn't develop in a great amount of detail.
Yeah, and I'm so hyped.
Actually, I agree with you that like the very beginning of that was probably my favorite part. That's kind of when it clicked for me what the Shadow of the Erd Tree actually meant.
Okay, let's hear it.
Alright, because initially when they talked about the Shadow of the Erd Tree, I was thinking like, oh, it's going to be like a Godwin thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So this looks like it's tying back into all the stuff from the base game about like the way that the Golden Order was created, the way the Erd Tree was created, and things like the Crucible and like the way that like death was bound and things like that, which are in the base game they are talked about in this very sort of mythic way.
Right.
Like, and then Marika took the Crucible and made the Erd Tree, and then the Rune of Death was bound, and then the Flame was bound atop the mountain. But
it's just a fable at that point.
Yeah, you never actually really see how that articulates. You were never really shown it, you were told about it, and you're told about it in that way that's kind of quite vague, and I always assumed that was going to be the end of it. Like, we just hear this creation myth, but we don't actually see it, whereas in this trailer, we are seeing at the start of it, like,
we saw that.
complete with the narrator saying, like, this is the beginning.
Right. It's actually kind of bone-chilling. My girlfriend, who I was chatting with her a lot about this, right? She actually at first thought it was Godwin's eye. The eye Gina is like, it looks like an eye, but it's made out of Godskin.
I love this little mix.
Right.
However, the reason I brought it up was that
variations on
John. I think it'd be really poetic is if we saw a similar scene happen between Godwin and Mikola anyway, because they could easily be like the mirror. They're kind of like the Omega to her Alpha.
Miyazaki has said that like the DLC is not going to be a flashback situation. It's not going to be like Artorias of the Abyss, where you're going back and actually engaging with these things. You're going to be showing them that the DLC timeline it's the same timeline as the base game.
Okay.
That Marika situation, that's presumably like a flashback to what happened. That mess of
just
like
that trailer.
bodies and things.
He said
Yes.
the cutscenes will do that, but not the actual.
Okay, here's the interesting part of that. So the Crucible's described as like, this is the place where once all life was blended together.
Yeah.
Marika shapes that into the Earth Tree. Marika also has to bind the flame of the giants atop the mountain before what she's calling the Age of the Earth Tree can begin.
Right. Okay, got it.
The question marky bit in there is like, was the Earth Tree already there when she did that? Or did she bind the flame and then make the Earth Tree? Because like, it could sort of go either way, it doesn't exactly matter.
Yeah.
And we hear all this stuff about the Crucible, that it was this...
what's important is that the Earth Tree came after the Golden
You
Order.
don't encounter it. You just hear that there was this thing called the Crucible, and all of life was blended together into the Crucible. And Godfrey and his knights encountered the Crucible.
Oh.
And it did something to them. It's somehow tied to the Omen.
And that's why he had
somehow
Omen
tied to the
kids.
Misbegotten, because the way the Crucible works is like, it has within it all these traits that are not human. It has like horns and wings and tails and things like that. So
Breath.
all of life is mingled together.
Fire breath, I guess.
And basically, Marika shapes that into the Earth Tree. Godfrey and his knights are somehow involved. Later on, you start getting the Misbegotten being created. It doesn't specify if Misbegotten are just a thing that arises or if they're actually born from people. People view them as punishment for having messed with the Crucible. So it's like you mess with the Crucible to do this thing, but then it's like the Crucible sort of leaked out and it made these like chimera creatures because the Crucible is this bonding of life. And then you have Godfrey and the Crucible Knights, where it's a little vaguer, but it's like, yeah, the Crucible Knights have all these Crucible powers. Like, they can summon forth, like, wings and tails and things they really shouldn't have. And the reason they wear these suits that completely cover their body is that something happened to them.
I'm fighting
And
him
it's
right now.
never specified what, but the implication is, like, under that there's something that's not human anymore. Something changed them.
Okay. Yeah. But they're one with the tree.
You know what this reminds me of?
Godfrey himself doesn't seem to have been, like, mutated or anything by it.
Strange.
But I think it's notable
The first
that
boss
Godfrey's
of the Dark
kid
Souls 1
is
DLC.
an Omen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think, like, again, the implication there, because Omens have, like, horns and tails and things, is, like, some of that Crucible energy, whatever you want to call it, the Crucible's nature.
That Manticore in Dark Souls 1 is basically
So you
a
get the
Crucible
Royal
beast.
Heir being this, like, chimera creature. With
Yeah,
regard
it's a
to the
chimera.
Crucible in the DLC, there is that weird hippo monster
Yep.
that does this, like, very, very overtly, like, Crucible-coded move where it's falling down. You get the same gold, the same attack. You get to see that the player character can do that later on. I think that's actually called Aspect of the Crucible Spine. So that's its official name.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah. Of course, the Crucible, there's something of the Crucible in this place, if this is where the Earth Tree and the Golden Order are first sort of fashioned, right?
Naturally.
The other interesting thing about this place with reference to the Crucible and the Omens is that castle with the lion people in it,
Okay.
More.
Yeah.
like there's this castle and they
Castle
have like
Moon.
the big Chinese dragon lion.
Oh, they're
but
talking about the
there
trailer.
seem to be Omen horns all over everything.
Yes. Yeah.
These weird twisted horns that we would associate those with Omen.
Used to be revered.
Used to be revealed. Yeah, that's the
No,
thing, because I assumed from that first
Yeah.
trailer, oh, this is just like another one of America's kids has a castle in this place for a reason we will discover later.
Okay.
But I read an interview with Miyazaki, and he said, no, that place was there before America.
Oh, wow. Okay, that,
Yeah, he did say
that has a
that.
lot of timeline implications.
Yeah, so it's like, that's where all this, like, reverence for the horns must come from, reverence for beasts comes from. Because I had initially viewed that
They
as, like,
worship,
this is this
or they
weird
sort of
sort of
crucible as-
siloed off part of, like,
Holy.
America's Golden Order. Maybe it's just been isolated for so long it doesn't engage with her anymore.
Right.
Where instead of Omens being persecuted and thrown in a sewer, the Omens are revered, and that's why there's all these people with Omen horns. It's why there's statues of a lion with Omen horns. It's possibly where that weird bear with horns attack thing is coming from. But now I'm like, no, this isn't necessarily the Golden Order, is it? This is pre-Golden Order. So, all of that
No, it's just
Roman stuff.
the realm
was
they're
probably
going
there
in is
before.
still.
I can agree with that.
Oh, well,
I
the
am
trailer
wondering if, like,
that's
that
showing
castle
things before
has
everything
something to do
became
with the
present
Crucible.
day.
But, like,
So yeah,
this was the place that was, like, full of the people
Shows
who
are
were,
showing
like,
the
maybe
best.
kind of
But
chimeric,
we won't
half
be in
human,
the
half animal.
Right.
They worshipped these weird horned lions.
Yep.
Maybe that's where that spine beast comes from. And Marika has had to subdue that place to get to the Crucible.
Right, so we're imagining, like, this is kind of the place where she figured out how to ascend from a beast to a human, if you will.
Maybe
we don't know if she
something
was
like
a
that.
beast.
Yeah.
Like
before.
that. The thing
There
is
were
that
already
despite
humans, it's
being
just like
Golden Order, it just
there was
looks
also
like
a
something
bunch
from
of
the actual
beastmen.
Golden Order.
I don't think
know,
everyone
yeah.
was just a.
It didn't look
A
old
chimera.
enough.
Yeah, so that seems like that's maybe the place
But
that,
she
like,
probably was, and they
Marika
used
kind
the
of
amber egg to
started
look
putting
like
a
human.
plan into motion. She had to go
Remove all
there and
the,
get all the
beast
Crucible
attributes.
stuff. And that's why you're seeing, like, the horns, you're
That's
seeing the
possible.
rune bear head with the omen horns. There's this obvious worship of lions with horns there.
Okay.
You see statues of horned lions, and I also thought like that.
Well, Radigan did have the amber
because,
egg, so they possibly did change their form to look more human.
Something has gotten into them, like they're not supposed to be like
They
this.
might have been
Because
being
if they're
slowly
saying it's
fucking
not a flashback, this would make more sense to me if all those battles that we saw with like the Wicker Man, red machines, and all that, and there's even an omen that they're like kind of got stabbed on the stairway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to me, what you're saying makes total sense to me because I'm also confused if it's not a flashback. If it is a flashback, and this is just when they cleared out the omens the very first time, like way back when, then it lines up perfectly to me. So I'm like,
Yeah,
Really
that's
big
what I
bully.
think it is. That also sort of ties into that that character that we see in the portrait. He looks a bit like Morgoth's corpse when the omen stuff sort of fades from him. I again initially assumed that's another one of Marika's kids because he just looks like Morgoth. He's sort of impaled on what looks like shards of the Elden Ring. But it looks like, no, that was the guy who was there before.
okay, question mark. Why the heck doesn't Godfrey turn into this form? I don't think we have time to fully unpack it, but like that's not what the heck to me.
Godfrey
I don't think
doesn't
he
get
just automatically
the
turned
Elden
into a
Ring in
misty
him,
guy.
though, does he? He just gets grace in him.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. Technically.
Because to me, the thing about, like, Godfrey is he's just being used by people.
Yeah.
So, like, slight tangent here. What was interesting to me was Messmer's line about, like, why do you give lordship to someone who is bereft of light?
Shit.
Who did you take that to possibly be referring to?
Oh, I really wasn't
Possibly
sure. I was
us.
just going with the tarnish, but
Yeah.
like that's
Yeah,
just
so-
a slightly
yeah,
strange
Yeah, that's what I
timeline.
think.
It's clearly not Mikola, because Mikola is completely incandescent with light.
Right. He's hella like.
Right. I thought for a while it might have been Godwin,
Okay.
but I don't think so because we've gotten, like, very little
He's
acknowledgement
dead.
of Godwin in any of this.
Very strange.
That wouldn't
The
make
closest thing
sense.
to acknowledging Godwin
We
in the
wouldn't be talking
DLC
like
is
that.
you see those, like, mutated grey trees that are sort of the sign of, like, there is death root here on one of the plateaus.
Okay. They got the same
That's the
ones.
closest thing I
It's
get to,
undead, I
like,
should say.
Godwin fight,
Those
but
who
it's
live in
weird
death.
because, like, they specify in the
Definitely not
base
light.
game that, like, Mikola is wanting Godwin to die a true death.
Right. That's his whole goal.
And here we finally
That
get
is whole
Mikola.
goal, one of them.
Like, I'm assuming there will be some Godwin payoff in this.
Me too.
Like you said, Messmer could be referring to the Tarnished. He could also be referring to Godfrey,
Oh, okay.
who is, like, the Tarnished and Godfrey are, like, kind of the same thing, where
Yeah.
it's, like, someone who your light has been
But
taken
no,
from
he
you
wouldn't
in
be, 'cause
exile. 'Cause
Godfrey was
about that
banished.
line that kept throwing me.
Godfrey was banished. This is not like a
Does
time
Marika
travel.
want the
So it wouldn't be
Tarnished
like
to
she's
become
talking about
Elden Lord?
Godfrey before
Yeah, I
he became
really don't
chosen
know because she's
as an
so
Elden Lord either.
far removed from
That
the
would,
situation.
that's the
by
only way
the
that
time
would
he
make
gets
sense in that
resurrected.
line.
As far as I'm aware,
He already got
the
banished.
only time you hear,
So
like,
he wouldn't
hey,
be
Tarnished,
saying
your
that
job is to go
to
and
a-
be Elden Lord.
Anymore.
It's direct from the greater will to the two fingers.
banished as a
And they
Tarnished.
specify, like, yeah, actually, the whole reason the Tarnished are back now is that Marika's plan didn't work. Marika's idea was actually just get her kids to fight each other and see who wins.
Right.
And
I hate that theory. I don't think that's what it really was.
She had, like, to begin with. Like,
this is a terrible theory.
She used to sort of clear out the lands between them, and when she was done with them, like, the light in Godfrey's eyes disappears and she sends them off. Yeah, it's weird. So going back to the giant corpse mountain, which is interesting, right?
Yeah,
this theory where she just wanted her kids to fight each other is so stupid to me.
Does, right?
I haven't seen nothing to support that. It's a theory that was thrown out there, and then everybody just started repeating it.
She also does something.
It's just really petty and stupid. It doesn't sound
like we've talked about for years now. Elden Ring is obsessed with like the duality of things.
Yes.
It's obsessed with something cannot exist on its own. It has to be in a relationship with something else.
Absolutely.
And they're pulling back and forth against each other in this kind of like dialectical
relationship. This is pointing out
Marika, in order to create the Golden Order, her first action is that she binds away death. Right. So they talk specifically about like that was
shadow does appear when there's light. That's just what happens
when they're talking about Marika. So presumably that's the birth of the Golden Order as we know it.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see, like, Marika is reaching up and she's pulling, like, she's almost pulling the sky down.
Yeah. It's awesome.
And that's where that weird pattern in the sky comes from. That, like, that literally is, like, drapes and a dress and things. It's Marika pulling the sky down. So I'm wondering if what you're looking at there is actually her somehow binding death, and in order to bind death, she just needs tons and tons of corpses to do it because they're dead. She's like sucking the death out of things. So I have this methodology.
She's a vampire now. No, I think it's just for the tree.
When I engage with FromSoft DLCs at this point.
I don't know.
Okay.
Which is that I look at what the data mining community has pulled up.
The tree.
And I go like, okay, what was changed really late in development? Because that's probably going to be the DLC thing.
Yeah, definitely.
So the three major things that like were changed very late in development to the point where, like, the text in version 1.00 and 1.01 are different. Nicola, the Serpent in the Erd Tree, and the Gloamite Queen.
And Saint Trina, don't forget Saint Trina.
And Saint Trina and Nicola are the same.
Yeah, I'm the same. Who cares?
Yeah. So, like, the Nicola stuff is fairly clear. We're getting it's just front and center. This is a DLC that's got Nicola in it. Nicola seems to be playing the role of Melina in this.
But Melina we gotta chase down, kinda.
I think that's something that maybe has to happen, because if you can activate this DLC at any point, you could do it after Melina's left.
Right.
So you can't rely on Melina being there to actually narrate anything to you.
Absolutely, yeah.
So Nicola's going to be the Melina figure. What's interesting in the Miyazaki interview that I read, he talks about how in the Land of Shadow there is no grace. So the implication I got from that is there won't actually be sites of grace.
She does have like torrents, so she has to relate to
like it's those Nicola runes.
Yeah, it looks like it might work differently.
Yeah, so those, like, we wondered what those were and why there were these runes sticking out of the ground, if they were like a PvP thing or something like that, or a co-op thing. It looks like those might actually be replacing sites of grace, because from what I can tell, like, I don't think you've seen any sites of grace in any of the trailers, despite them showing off gameplay.
Yeah, and it makes a lot of sense. Like, grace can't reach this place.
So the second thing that they alter is the exact role that serpents play.
Right.
So a lot of the stuff about, like, the gladiators wearing the serpent...
That was all pretty vague, like, the whole way through, I must say.
There's a couple of references in the older versions of the script to, like, the serpent was the devourer of the gods, or the serpent was the doom of the gods. But in the rewrite for version 1.01, they go all in on, like, the serpent is a traitor to the Erd Tree.
Right.
The reason people like watching gladiators dressed as serpents is because everyone in the lands between hates serpents and wants to watch them suffer. That's all added.
So it kind of sounds to me in a fabled, allegorical kind of sense that we're watching Eve blame the snake for like what she did.
Yeah.
It's kind of like her scapegoat, like making.
Oh yeah, it's an inversion of Eve.
That like. maybe that huge entity was the snake's womb. Like, that's what I was thinking of, that big fleshy room.
I don't know what the hell the vagina is. Like, I've, like, blown it up. I've, like, played with the color levels. I don't know what the hell this is. But it's interesting because, like, she's pulling something out of the whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then it looks like she's using that to sort of pull, like, the gold out of the sky. So it's like, what did she have with her? Like, it looks like she needs
Why are
that
people
thing.
confused
How did
about
you
this?
get
It's
it
a
out?
fucking ring.
I do think it's like a Threads of Fate thing. Would you
Yeah.
give me that?
It's a
point?
fucking ring.
Oh,
This
absolutely.
is how the
yeah.
rings are just.
What she's basically doing
That's
is saying
their
your fate is no
essence.
longer
That's
to
how they
die.
appear
Your
in
fate
this
is to
world.
live forever in my epoch of life.
No wonder shit went
Yeah.
wrong.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the interesting thing about Marika is that like she's a fertility goddess who views life in this very like detached way.
She's
It's just like the
fertility.
state of not being dead.
Yeah, she sucks at being a mom.
So the third thing that they changed, and this is like a crossover a little bit with Rykard, if you look at the old art, the god skins are depicted in Rykard's area, and the flames they have are just red.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
And
Yeah,
if
so
you look
there
at like
might be a relation.
how the god skins actually work, like if you divorce
that
them from
does make
everything
sense.
else, like yes, they have these like skin aprons on, but like one of them has a tail like a snake, and the
Yeah,
other one
they do.
extends its
The
body
fat
out like a
one's
snake.
noble.
Quicksilver.
The whole thing
Godskin
about
Noble has a
snakes is like
snake
snakes
tail.
keep shedding skin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So,
that's like a snake.
I would kind of not be totally surprised if, like, the Godskins, when they first made them, that was just
That was
Rykard's
snake skin.
faction. They were, like, people who were sort of half turning into snakes and, like, shedding skin and things. And
Oh,
burning
maybe.
the flame of that girl.
I just thought they were wearing the
and
shedded
then
snake
they
skin of the
got
snake
sort
god.
of, like, shifted off to become the
And that's why it's
Queen's
Godskin,
faction.
not their own
If you're
skin.
wearing, like, the skin
They're
of
not
the gods to
gods.
freak them out, why does that make you grow a tail?
It would make more sense if they were wearing the
That's
skin of the
really
god.
Yeah, that's
The
a good
snake
point.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they always struck me as, like, from the design point of view, they look like they should be with Rykard. Yeah, no, it's, I mean, like, that's not a criticism. Like, pretty much all the interesting parts of Bloodborne are done that way. But then it's also interesting that, like, the villain they introduced is another one of Marika's kids who no one talks about.
Right, he kind of just like he just really should be Rykard. Or
No, why would he?
somebody
Why should he
under
be
his
Rykard?
wing. I mean, maybe he still could be.
Like,
Rykard is
place that he's
overrated.
burning Down, that
I don't like how
looks
people
like it's
overrate
the castle with the
Rykard.
lion
Rykard is a
people.
failure.
Like, almost
He became a
like,
glut.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah,
He's
Like,
a
it was
he's like
almost
a-
these are
a
probably
variation of
Godfrey's,
fucking-
honestly, originally.
that castle
Almost.
is already like the most interesting part
That's
to
what
me
he
because
is.
it's got some historical relationship with everything else.
Mm-hmm.
He's a
Because when I
fucking
first saw that they
failure.
had like
He's
this
there to be
Chinese
like
dragon
a
top of line,
representative fuck up.
I thought, oh,
Only not
they're
as-
copying Godfrey because
Not as
Godfrey
bad
had
as
a
the
lion on his
graphic
back.
guy,
Right.
Godric.
But now it seems like it's the other way around. Does the whole Godfrey lion thing actually come from this place?
I got one for you.
Probably.
Godfrey is under some kind of permanent version of the Mimic Veil spell,
Right.
and he's really a lion.
No,
He's a rock.
no.
That's my like crazy theory on
That's,
that one.
I hate that
And
theory.
then once you imagine him as a lion guy, then all of
Why?
a sudden I think a lot of these lines that you just brought up,
Even the people in that
make
world
more
are
sense.
actual lions.
like being
They're just
related with
revel- they just
Azula
like
and being
lions.
related with like the first defeat, basically. Like there's
We're
like
not seeing actual
four
lion men there.
armies that America has to kill off before she can really be in control fully. And this is like the first one. And yeah, that's what I think happened. I think she's like hiding him and pretending he's a man, and that's why her kids become omens because he's really lion.
Yeah.
And that's why all this shit. So
Because he
that's what
had
I'm taking on.
Godwin.
It does also confirm
Godwin's
that,
his
like,
kid.
Messmer's
He wasn't
the guy in charge of the big Wicker Man things.
Yeah.
Which are again interesting because those have little spiral horns coming out of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I had assumed they were part of that, like, omen place, but it looks like no, they're Messmer's.
So I had somebody in my Discord channel, forgive me, I can't remember who it was who initially said this to me. But Wickermen was like were made to mock the other side.
Okay.
And so it actually kind of makes
Oh,
sense.
yeah, right.
Yeah, so it's got like
that's
this
actually
little
got, yeah.
Sun Realm, by the way. I think that's pretty much confirmation that this place is the Sun Realm that is mentioned
Maybe,
in the shields
Yeah.
and stuff. But they've got a little sun on them, and then the horns, and they're just being like, ha ha ha, die.
Yeah, and it looks like
That's
they're
a theory.
maybe necessary for the whatever Marek is doing, like the creation of the Shadow of the Earth tree.
Mm.
Do we think it's the Helfen, or is the Helfen just going to be something that they mention once and then never again?
Oh, I hope it's the help then. So I think it's a lot of places, and I'm gonna do like a my final crazed rant where I just kind of like vomit all my theories in one stream, like later this weekend. Yeah, I might as well. And yeah, so I do think it's the help then. I think it's like all of the death places that people reference, they're all referencing the same place.
So the other thing that I guess we should talk about is like we seem to have an actual screenshot of St. Trina now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
so
from the trailer.
I saw that. That was so
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
So there's a couple of shots in the first trailer that sort of were like St. Trina coded.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a field of purple flowers where you see like a Trina lily in the background.
That did look like.
And yeah, there's like a person who's on the ground doing like a soldier dead in a field type pose.
Oh,
There was
yeah.
that painting of the woman next to the unnamed guy.
The woman
There
that
was a theory that she was St. Trina largely because she had her eyes were covered and she had these very long braids.
Mm-hmm.
But really it just comes down to like the covered eyes and the braids. She doesn't really look like St. Trina
Yeah.
like any other
I agree.
version. Yeah, this is the thing is we don't actually see St. Trina
That
really.
woman
We
in
see
red is
pictures
not
of
St. Trina.
Mm-hmm.
But also St. Trina is something that people see like in their dreams and stuff like that, so it's not 100% clear what St. Trina even looks like. Does St. Trina have a big eye in the middle of her forehead? We don't know.
Yeah, she might. She honestly might.
And the sort of the purple, hazy, like, lighting of the field with the lilies and the person lying in it, that's later reused when they're fighting that weird Nukalavy sort of, like, centaur, possibly Elden Lore thing.
Oh, yeah.
You know when you fight, like, the ancestral spirit, and you sort of just go into this other realm, and there's just, like, weird shit happening?
I actually gotta go
I
fight.
sort of feel like that
Another
might
realm.
be happening in this DLC at least a couple of times.
Oh, we're gonna take naps.
There are shots in it that straight up look like something is overlaid over the world that you're in now. Like the scene where you're fighting the dancer in red, and it's in this very, very vivid blue field with these sort of
Yeah,
particles
that's pretty.
floating up into the sky.
Mm-hmm.
You get a sort of look at the area. Like there's that shot of all these plateaus and castles and everything, and there's nothing else around. Like you'd expect to see like, you know, monsters off in the distance and
Or some kind of point of interest.
and yeah, whereas like no, everything is completely desaturated. It's actually black and white, including the sky,
Yeah.
apart from the really, really vivid blue flowers. So that to me says that's not like an area per se. It's like you walking in that area and you touch something like Everjail, like an Everjail works,
Right.
I guess.
and you suddenly like you go through a loading screen and you'll be in the same area, but it will look like this.
Okay, awesome. I hope that's true.
I wonder if the
Maybe.
same thing is true of the purple.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Because St. Trina's whole thing is
What the
sleep,
fuck, dude?
and you find this person who seems to be sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if we're gonna like
I'm
go
tired of
into
these
dreams and
motherfuckers.
things. I guess the other we'll talk about the weird lady who
One more time.
might be St. Trina but probably isn't.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't necessarily have a blindfold on, but she has this cap that kind of covers her eyes. And the resolution of the image isn't quite high enough, but it looks like that might have like an eye on it, but it also might just be like a gemstone or something.
So for me, it's like there's only one other mother mentioned in the story. Well, two. There's two.
Fuck.
There's the Mother of Truth, and there's the Glow Light Queen. So my guess is that she's the Glow Light Queen because that's the only person that's been described as like being a mother, and the Gospin swaddling cloth is like basically their most important item, lore-wise. That's why I lean towards her. However, is her dress white? Because I've always kind of expected...
Well, the thing is, you can't tell because it's this, like, really faded picture. Like, everything... It's a faded picture. It looks like it's lit by candlelight, so everything has this sort of orangey color to it. Interesting, the narration, it starts mentioning, like, a seduction and a betrayal.
Yeah, I was fascinated.
Yeah. Do we think that that guy is the one who was seduced and betrayed?
Oh, I hadn't thought of that.
This is not a time travel DLC. I don't know why they're acting like these guys have...
Like, perhaps truth.
She seduces and betrays a lot of people, isn't she?
Yeah.
They're acting like this is like an origin story of America still.
It's specifically supposed
like
to
the
be
people we're going to be
that
meeting there
seduction
are
and
not going to be
betrayal
like...
is where, like, they say gold arose.
They're not necessarily going to be people that America
And if that's
met
true, maybe
when
that's
she was
her in the picture and she's
starting out.
covered her face so no one knows it's her.
People who are living there now.
But she looks
We're
too
gonna learn
small
about
to be America.
Yeah,
in
America's
this
tall
shadow
shit,
realm.
to be honest.
America's enormous. I mean, granted, the other, you don't get a sense of scale in it. So, like, the other guy could also be tall as shit.
Yeah,
Do we think
where he
the
was when he
Carrion
was
person
not
was also
old
there
and
with America?
decrepit.
Because we got
Yeah,
rid
the
of Carrion.
reason I'm wondering
NPC
America
there, too.
is, like, when you see that guy, he's impaled on what look like shards of the Elden Ring.
Yep. Yeah.
When the thing first landed and we learned that the villain was called Mesmer the Impaler, there's a big, like, oh, Mesmer the Impaler, I bet he impaled that guy.
Yeah.
We see Mesmer doing his impaling in this trailer, and no, he's just stabbing people on spears.
Right.
He's not doing fancy shit. He's putting them on spears and burning them.
Mm-hmm.
So when I look
Say
at
that's
that
not
guy with
fancy?
this weird design shoved in him, I think, like, Marika placing the Elden Ring in someone, making them a vessel of the ring, because it's like shards of sort of splintering golden light.
Right. Okay.
And we know that Marika has this history of, like, breaking fragments of the ring off and giving them to people.
Yeah.
So it almost looks like, was this guy, like, forcibly given a shard of the Elden Ring and it was just, like, shoved into his body?
Oh, I see forcibly being used to create a mending rune, so to speak. Like, edit.
He doesn't look like he's enjoying himself.
No. Yeah. If he's immortal, and that's, like, why he's old and decrepit like that, I could see
He's
that,
immortal
like,
and his wife is still
being
pregnant.
the final key in, like,
Get out of here,
this
dude.
hypothetical three-step process of getting rid of Destiny.
Like, I think that might honestly be part of it, because, like, he is... If that thing happened a really long time ago, that was the birth of the Golden Order, presumably he has to be immortal.
Oh, right. Because the cutscene
But we don't know if he
seems more
was
like
there
present
at the
day
time.
when they show that.
We don't know
shot.
that.
It's like,
They're just
Rykard,
assuming
we
he's
see
immortal.
portraits of him as a person, and then when you
To
encounter him,
support
he's the
their
same.
theory that they
The
made
guy,
up.
when you see him in the trailer,
We don't
he
know
looks
that.
like he's in a dungeon. Like, he looks like he's been locked away somewhere. It's just this, like, dingy cell. There's what look like bones and rocks and stuff all over the floor.
Oh, I didn't even notice the surroundings. I was probably staring right at
He
him.
might just be somebody
he's presumably,
akin to
like,
Thea, who
It's
just
like
made
he's
a
done
ring,
this to him and, like, locked him up
That looks
somewhere.
similar
So
to
I'm
the
wondering if,
Elden.
like, is that the betrayal?
and it's in his body.
I guess the thing to, like, focus on here is, like, this is supposed to be the birth of gold. So at the very start of this, like, when this whole affair unfolds, America's presumably not got the Golden Order, she's not got the
Yeah,
Earth.
that guy
She's
might
not
be
clear
Thea's
like how
family for
strong
all we
America
fucking
was
know.
at that point. She
Nothing to do
presumably
with
had the
America.
Elden Ring, but that was it.
She was Newman, probably, at that point.
Has she offered him a shard of the Elden Ring, and it's just
Yeah, Newman are like
the
a
other
faction
oddity
of people.
here,
They're not.
when we
they're
talk
like
about
mystery
timelines, is Mesmer.
Absolutely.
Because Mesmer is explicitly Marika's kid.
Oh, somebody said that for reals? I didn't.
Miyazaki said
Miyazaki said it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Miyazaki explicitly said Mesmer is one of Marika's children, right? So she has a full-grown kid at the start of this, and the kid has red hair.
She had red hair in her DNA to start with, right?
We don't know when Mesmer. I
Well,
don't know.
who was the father?
Oh,
It might have been a snake.
Also, that could be the reason. Right.
Yeah, because it's like, that's not Godfrey's kid.
Right. It could be this other guy. Absolutely.
Well, you know,
Might be
you see
Radigan.
Mesmer
Because
attacking his
Radigan
castle.
apparently has been around
So
like
presumably
forever.
Mesmer is an adult while this is happening. So I'm like, prior to her relationship with Godfrey, like, did Marika have, like, was she either openly married or having an affair with another giant?
It's like she was She was
Might
doing
not
the
be
Voyager
Reddit.
thing. Back in the days when French people were Voyagers, they would have like a second wife over in America or in Canada.
The other possibility, right,
Yeah.
is that they talk about the red hair of the fire giants being a curse.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he wasn't born with red hair.
Oh, yeah.
Marika really needs the flame sealed away. Did she try sealing it away like in Mesmer or something? Is Mesmer
Like Malekith
and
did.
that's made his hair go red? Yeah.
Okay.
So the thing about Mesmer's flame is like, is there something else behind the flame? Because you get that shot very briefly of there's like lava filled passageway.
Yeah.
It's got this pipe in it. But if you look at the
Yeah.
pipe, it has a screw in it, and the screw is churning, which means the screw is actually presumably sucking the lava up. And one of the lines that they add in 1.01 is that this sorcery is held to represent the fury of the volcano. The arrogance of attempting to harness it is solely that of men and serpents.
Hmm.
So are they kind of going back and like tying into like Mesmer's arrogance and everything is something to do with the attempts to harness the fury of Gelmir? There's an ancient serpent-worshipping cult in a volcano,
Yeah.
and then the DLC introduces a guy with snakes growing out of him who does fire stuff. Like those, and like I was saying, like a lot of the serpent stuff is not necessarily added in 1.01, but it's emphasized. So I think that's like the plot as far as we can gather. But like, are there any little sort of details you wanted to talk about?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, there's mainly just one, I think.
Okay.
Maybe I'll think of a second or third. But the one I wanted to mention is that I think it's easy to forget because there's like so many little cutscenes right at the start of the game. But we have a scene that directly mirrors this first scene. When we are first reborn as the Tarnished, and we stand up as like a being for the first time.
You tarnished.
We're actually standing inside the Erd Tree, and the Erd Tree has like this gateway opening, kind of like it was like vaguely vaginal, but the stuff in the DLC is like way more explicit than this one. But
What the
it's
fuck?
really cool how they shot it to
Close
be like
distance so
a
hard.
more dramatic version of that scene. Because I think it's going to have it basically is like her birthing of her own identity. So I think it's really cool just to be designing that weird fleshy gateway to be the exact same shape as the gateway to the regular Erd Tree. So like it could even be what grew into the Erd Tree.
It's also the negative space of the Erd Tree, because the Erd Tree is the single growing golden thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that it's set up, it actually frames, like, the gold.
Mm-hmm.
It's very explicit that, like, she has made the Erd Tree
Oh, I
from
didn't die. Thank
all
God.
the corpses of the people who have been killed in this horrible purge.
Yeah.
She hasn't literally fashioned them into a tree, but their deaths and the heaping of the corpses and everything is what is being used to fashion a tree. So the character that we haven't talked about, who is on the throne,
He did it
that
twice.
looks vaguely like,
What
if
up,
you squinted,
Pussy?
you might think it was Ray Lucario.
My a hot take on that one is, I have no idea who she is. I couldn't tell you
Or she.
a name.
I don't know if it's a woman
but
or
I
a
think
man.
there's been this like House of Sun and House of Moon for a very, very long time in the history of Elden Ring. And so I think she's like a proto Ray Lucaria, basically.
So the closest I can come to placing her is there's a couple of really brief shots in the trailer where the character is approaching this like gloomy looking other like castle area.
Mm-hmm.
You see in the scene where they're using throwing knives against this like sort of shadow person, and I'm wondering if she's something to do with that. Because I can't think of where else she would go.
Yeah, because we haven't seen that many we haven't seen even two civilizations. Like we've seen incumbents to that civilization, but it's really just the one. Really just that one castle. And then it's like unclear whether there's like a secondary castle that has totally different people in it. Can't tell yet.
They're in this church, and you see there's these braziers that are holding, like you would assume it was glintstone if this was Ray Lucario. But because of where we are, because of the Trina stuff, like it's not a color of glintstone we've seen, and it has the same hue, the same purple hue as the Trina lilies. So it's like, I'm assuming this is one of those places you go into and you get like a little like golden ring, which means you can't attack people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering if like those are there to create this sort of like soporific aura around her, so people are like less aggressive, and maybe that's what's keeping her safe. The implication I get from that place, right, is like it's clearly a church, like it has pews and everything in it. Instead of a lectern and an altar, it has a throne. So it looks like it's somewhere people would go to listen to whoever was in the throne speaking to them. But the thing is, like, it's clearly abandoned, where it's just this, like, sort of, it's discarded, everything's empty, but it's not, like, it's not being destroyed, it just looks like no one's been there for a really long time.
Yeah.
And she's surrounded by these purple things, and I'm wondering if, like, there's just monsters outside and she's just staying in there.
Yeah. Oh, okay, so you're talking about, like, everybody's getting nuked. And, like,
I'm imagining it almost like Erden Chapel and Bloodborne. The other thing about her that's, like, kind of interesting is that frill she has. Because I'm wondering if that's meant to evoke, like, a cobra hood, and she's also a snake person.
Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah. I've always wanted the, like, Liurnian stuff to make an official merge with the snake stuff.
You don't get a super good look at her, but, like, from what I can see, there's almost like a scale pattern on some of the details on her hood.
Okay, let me see the close-up now. Oh, wow. Okay, I see what you're saying.
If you look at the side of her head, it has this, like, cross-hatched sort of pattern that almost looks like scales.
And the frills, to your point, also have, like, these cobra-coated circular designs on them.
It has the same sort of, we were talking about, like, that weird vaginal motif with, like, there's, like, this gap, and then there's stuff growing around it, which fits with everything else there. So I'm like, Hang on, I'll show you the place I think she's from. I'll just grab it. Yeah, this is the place I think she's in because it has that sort of purple misty effect.
You are so right.
I think she's probably there. There's probably a bunch of weird shadow monsters lurking around with machetes. And she's probably going to be like, "Oh, you're safe here."
It's the Bloodborne zone.
Yeah, finally.
All right, we're going to go fight Fat Man.
Another interesting thing is with regard to like trees and stuff is when you see the long shot of the castle with the lion in it, it looks kind of like when you see Stormvale, and there's all those briars growing out of it and sort of spilling over the sides. If you look at the distant shot of that, you can see that's happening to that castle from the very top. I wonder if that is going to be Deathroot.
Yeah, see, I was wondering if this whole friggin' tree is made out of Deathroot, and it's the roots of the Erd tree.
Yeah, see, that would make a lot of sense, yeah. I mean, the most confusing thing about that castle to me is that, like, there's a lot of gold involved.
Yeah.
There's a shot of the character fighting these people armed with candlesticks.
Yep.
Which you gain, like, that asterisk that could be something to do with the Healthman, because they talk about, like, there's, like, a candle tree that guides the dead. But, they have the Omen Horn designs all over their faces, but they're also wearing gold.
Yeah, and I think the omens for them are masks, right?
But it looks like there actually are omens, though, because there's, like, a dead omen on the stairs. And there's, like, omens that seem to be operating the lion puppet.
Okay.
So there's a bunch of other weird little things in it. Like, you see, this looks like it's the castle with the lion people again. Actually, almost certainly is, sorry. There's, like, a scene in, like, a courtyard. And there's this, it looks like it used to be a fountain, maybe, with two lion statues in front of it. And then growing out of it is, like, again, it's the same look. It's this, like, weird, tree that's sort of growing in two directions and looping back around on itself.
I'm trying to find the exit. I don't know where the hell I am.
And that might be the genesis of the weird thorns or whatever they are Deathroot growing around this golden castle.
Okay, I need to see that one, because I forgot that existed.
It's really briefly in it. It happens in it. It's a shot of the character doing this attack that looks very like Mikola coded.
Oh, no wonder. Okay.
Like, the longer this goes on, the more I think to myself, like, is that castle, like, was this, like, the place the Crucible was held? Yeah. So there's I guess, a few other little unrelated things that we should probably talk about.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting that we straight up see, at least in the trailer, I don't know how much of that trailer is going to show up in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Because, as we know, Bamco uploaded a bunch of, like, Elden Ring cinematics that aren't actually in the game at all. Presumably they were at some point, and they've just cut them all, put them on the thing. So, the fact that we straight up see Saint Trina,
we can always mod them.
I am like wondering if like we are actually going to directly interact with Saint Trina at some point. One of the lines in the trailer is like, they're not saints, they just happen to be on the losing side of a war. And it's almost like they keep flagging up Mikola is very kind. Mikola is here to, like, make everyone feel better. Mikola's here to remove our sin. So is this, like, a place that lost the war with Marika and Mikola has come to kind of redeem it?
Right, he's trying to bring back the glory days.
Or at least he's trying to help them or something. Mikola is almost too perfect, as described in the base game.
Yeah, I'm not a super fan of, he's got a griffin and all, but...
I hate that.
Yeah. So
I hate that shit.
Mikola is described almost like he is too good.
No, he's not.
He is like...
Only in that
even
one
this
trailer.
unused Mikola ending that just looks like, okay, everything's better now.
Yeah, I'm glad that's not in the game, actually. I think that would have been kind of lame.
So I'm sort of waiting
things
for
that are
like,
good happening
pennies
is
to drop
lame.
and like
I
something
hate this
about
mentality.
Mikola to be revealed that is like a negative quality.
Yeah,
And I sort of wonder if it's like Mikola's flaw is like naivety.
Yeah. That's more what I lean towards.
Because I think it's notable that Saint Trina is depicted as being
it can't be a good story
Mikola.
or worth anything.
So it's like, is Saint Trina Mikola
if we have a good ending,
with the wisdom of experience?
Okay,
Get the fuck out of here.
Is Shadow of the Erdtree going to be the story of like Mikola kind of growing up and realizing that like actually you can't fix everything, and then changing from Mikola, who is like attempts to fix everything and maybe making it worse like his mother, into becoming Saint Trina, who is more mature and is still kind-hearted but is approaching it from the perspective of just lessening people's suffering rather than actively trying to like redeem everyone.
Interesting.
He's gonna ruin
Interesting
shit.
take.
It would actually be really neat if like you're encountering Mikola phantoms throughout the game, and then at the end, like there is no Mikola.
Just trying to find solutions is bad. So just let shit be bad.
It's like
Don't
done
do
a
anything
complete
about it.
rotation, and it's gone from like
That's something,
Mikola
you know,
becomes Saint Trina in
tyrant
his
rulers
dreams
would
to like
want
Saint Trina
peasantry
is now the one who is
Well,
in
you can't
charge.
do anything
and
about
she is
anything,
sending
so
out
just
the
don't
gifts
do
to
shit.
Mikola.
It'll just
Self-actualization
ruin
is
everything.
just an
Fuck outta
infinite
here.
well of
That would be a
metaphor.
terrible
And that's why lots of
turn, dude.
literature
Fuck
ends up being a
I wouldn't
metaphor
want
for
that.
that. And
as the fucking
I always
lesson.
thought that
What kind of
Elden
lesson
Ring
is that?
is trying to do that.
Nothing's
because
worth doing.
Your interpretation, I think, would line up perfectly with those themes.
You can't solve problems, so don't do shit.
Like,
Okay.
trauma, copying your parents.
You can't solve
subconsciously, and then
the
slowly
bigotry
the
issue with the
subconscious
Misty
becomes
guy.
conscious,
Really?
and that is what
You
Saint
can't
Trina
find
is all about.
a home
Saint
for
Trina
them
is
where they
about,
can live
like, an
fucking prosper.
liminal state.
That's just
You
too
know,
much.
it's like sleeping
They're
is
not
like
allowed
that,
to have
but it's not
a
the
good
wakeful
life.
frenzy that's like the counterpart to it.
Get the fuck out
There
of
is
here.
one snag that I want to mention before I pass it back to you.
Yeah.
And that is
That's a bad
they
thing if you
said
want to help
Mikola
the
sacrificed
oppressed.
everything,
That's really bad.
even
So
his
don't do
fate,
anything.
and right as they're
What
saying
kind of
even
message
his
is that?
fate, they show the like
That would be awful.
sleepy fate
I don't
girl.
agree with them
You
at
know,
all.
Ryan goes to sleep when she's going to meet her fate. So he's dropping Saint Trina. I'm like, no, don't do it.
No, but what if Mikola's fate
They'll probably
was
show
to
up again.
become the new Elden Lord? Well, what if he's given up that fate to become Saint Trina?
I hope that's what I hope it is.
Okay, so
No,
we're now
because we
like an
saw
hour and
when
45
they
minutes.
mentioned the fate in the trailer, they showed Saint Trina, so obviously not. He gave up Saint
I think
Trina.
we gotta wrap it
That
up.
was part of his fate.
Okay, so thank
And fate is
you
like
very
a
much
tangible
once
thing
again.
in the
Yeah,
game.
thank you,
It's like a
Sophie.
literal
This is
thing
really
in the
fun.
game.
And yeah, do you just want to plug your
Like tangible.
Instagram and your game
Not,
stuff?
not
Yeah,
just some symbolic thing.
my game is gonna have an alpha
This
this
is
year.
why
It's called Hysteria.
Radon
It's
holding
a
back the stars
3D
was
witchy
such a big
RPG,
deal.
and my girlfriend just got done with like a big, well, not done, but done with like the layout of our first big like ruins area.
Mhm.
So like,
Mhm.
it's getting really real. It's getting really
Nice.
It's really
professional,
Nice.
and I'm like very excited. I might be tapping some people on the shoulder for like play testing in like a month
Yeah,
or two.
yeah,
Yeah,
that sounds
so,
great.
No, that's
Yeah.
sweet.
Cool. Okay, so yeah, I guess we'll record about eyeballs tomorrow.
Okay, I'm down.
Okay, cool.
They're done already? Damn, it went by
Bye, everyone.
pretty quick.
Bye.
That was like almost an hour long. It already went by. Okay, well, look at these pretty blue flowers. I really dig it. This is my color. I forgot what you do here. You're supposed to do something here, but I forgot. I gotta get off the horse. Touch Phantom? Oh. I got a Mirage Riddle. Okay. I don't think I ever did this before. We gotta read. We gotta solve the Riddler's riddle. No, I'm not moving. I'm not trying to move. Damn it. I threw my controller down. I was trying to click onto the window here. So I can listen to something else. Yeah, Mikola, the great lesson he has to learn is that you can't solve problems. You can't solve everything. I mean, you're not solving everything. He has very specific things he's trying to solve. It's not like he's trying to solve it's not like he's trying to like solve everyone's stubbed toe or something. No. He's trying to handle the very egregious things that are very specific. That's it. Like, oh, we're just gonna let Godwin live in death forever? No, that's something that needs to be solved. That's fucking up the world. So yeah, you're gonna have to do something about Godwin. His sister's rotting away. Yeah, that's something he can probably solve. He already found like a semi-solution with the golden needle to stop, or at least stop the deterioration after she rotted already. But it's like it's not continuing with the golden needle. 1 second. We click on the window. And then you got the mystery god, the oppressed. You wanted to just have a home for them to go to if they want to go there, get away from all the oppression. That's fine. That's a very fair offer. But no, we're going to say, no, forget about the oppressed. You can't solve that problem. Fuck them. All right? There's nothing you can do. You'll just make things worse. Like, what type of mentality is this? I don't agree with their little assessment there, or what they want to happen. Oh, it would be boring if, or it would be bad. I would really hate it if he could actually help people like he wants to. He needs to learn the lesson that you shouldn't help people. Like, why? It's like this very nihilist, very cynical type of mentality that's very rampant in my generation and the Zoomer generation. And I hope the Gen Alpha discards that crap. That shit got old quick, dude. The whole cynical, nothing matters shit. I hate it. No, Gen Alpha needs to get rid of that. I hope they do. Don't get it. Don't be inspired by us, Gen Alpha. My generation, full of giant man babies and women babies, who are very cynical and don't want to solve any problems. It's kind of annoying. Shit. They would rat you out to the fascists. If that shit was going on right now, I guess gotta say it. A lot of my generation would just rat you out. They wouldn't stand for anything. They have no principles. They would do whatever they can to advance their own life, advance their own funds. They don't give a fuck about anything. Very selfish, very narcissistic. I just gotta say it. Sad to say. I hate to admit it, but it's just true. Just look at, let's listen to this, how they, like people from my generation talk. One second. Like I noticed I was in some communities too, like, and they would always frame something good in the most negative way. Like when they were playing, like in this one community I was in, they were playing Armored Core, and they were framing the concept of the natives, you know. They were framing them as just as bad as the corporations, the natives. You mean the indigenous people are just as bad as the invading corporations? And them wanting to coexist with the coral people. Oh, but the coral people are evil. Clearly, they're evil. They were just doing all this cynical framing of the coral people as evil for no reason. I mean, it's like, and then they were just attaching this to the real world. Well, yeah, the indigenous they're just as bad. They're just as bad as corporations too. And it's fine if the military just wipes them out. Apparently. And there's this guy who was part of, like, he did defense contracting, so of course he thought this way. And these are people in my generation, though, just to give an example. They want to frame any type of reasonable opposition to shit like that as evil or just as bad, some false equivalency. Every time they just frame anything good about them as like in a negative light. Because of course, this motherfucker was like some fucking scumbag defense contractor, so he has to do that to make himself, to justify his own scummy behavior. All right, it's like these people who, like, they know that they do scummy shit, and they believe in scummy things. They have to, like, always project onto people who are, like, rightfully opposed to them or who are just trying to survive. They have to frame them in, like, a bad light or just as bad as them. It's like that Vosh argument I was talking about on another stream. So, like, just to downplay how bad, the shit is that he consumes, that lolly porn shit, he wants to try to project that shit onto other people. Well, we've all rubbed ourselves to lolly porn, and like, no, motherfucker, you have. Don't try to project this onto everybody else. You can only speak for yourself. Don't say that. Like, don't call people who are just doing self-defense as evil as fucking invading imperials and corporations who are just raping and pillaging their resources and committing genocide. No, they're not as bad. They're not the same. It's a false equivalency. They're just doing self-defense. That's what that is. But of course, the defense contractor is going to frame it in a completely scummy way. But anyway, there's this woman. Her name is Jess Capricorn. I like her name already. She's a Capricorn, I guess. And I'm a Capricorn. So, That gels with me. We're gonna listen to her while I go do shit here. I thought I missed something in this forest, but I can't find it. So we're just gonna go fight the fat man, the fat godskin noble.
We're gonna watch the trailer one time all the way through, no pausing. I promise. Then we're gonna pause it a bunch and analyze a bunch of stuff and talk to chat and discuss. Let's commence. $17 plus. Oh my god.
Mikula the Kind spoke of the beginning.
Who is that?
You don't know who Mikkel is?
The seduction
Oh, she's talking about who's pulling
and
things
the betrayal.
in that image. That's America.
An affair from which gold arose.
Oh my god!
Too was shadow born.
She's geeking.
What followed
hilarious.
was a war unseen.
I have no idea what anybody just said.
Okay.
A war?
One that could never be put to song.
Who is that?
Without grace or honor.
Fire snakes? Fire snakes?
The tyranny of Messmer's flame.
Who is that? There's a thing. There's a thing.
I got the wrong thing on, but we'll use it anyway. I got the same shit, just cold.
And so kindly Mikula would abandon everything.
She's giggling. It's hilarious.
So those are new sites of grace, I bet. I bet those are the new sites of grace.
That's what I thought, but I guess
His golden flesh. His blinding strength.
what you want,
His fate.
bitch.
Trina?
Oh, you a hoe.
That is so cool. Look at that. That's us. That's Tarnished.
We choose the one.
Squad.
I mean, they're NPCs, but we can wear their shit on us.
Squad?
Oh,
No one with you, bitch!
Yeah,
I'm
save her
still
from
listening in for the music.
Fate Stay Night. Yeah, she's cool. I'll join up with her. Put a different talisman on. What fuck?
It's so soon.
Not soon enough.
Okay, I have no idea what anybody said, so we're gonna turn the captions on and go again.
Mikula the Kind spoke
Yeah,
of
the music was a bit loud. You
Beginning.
could hear some
So
of it
this is so
without
interesting.
captions.
Like, is this America?
and the betrayal.
This is so gross, dude. I mean, this is also literally Vagine.
Yeah,
I
might
think
as
it's
well
like
be.
good at Mogs. Maybe that's where the hand is. Oh my fucking god. Oh my god. So this is the inside of the cocoon. Wait.
Mikula the Kind spoke of the beginning.
And taking, so like, out here on the other side is like where we fight Moog, and this is Nicola taking the hand back in. I can see that, but the bracelet seems like a red herring. This doesn't look like what's on the outside of the cocoon. However, we know that the this land of shadow is very twisted and different, so that could be a thing. This is the birth of the Golden Order, and those are the threads of the first rune. The threads, when I saw this the first time, these threads look very...
And the betrayal.
At first I was reminded of, like pest threads, like the incantation. They're holding up those threads at the end like a rune arc.
No.
That looks like America moment and Wall of Flesh Eagles giving me Crucible vibes. Yeah. I mean, they literally say in the beginning. I think this could be like Birth of the Demigods.
Yeah.
Pre-Golden Order. Like, gold hair could be America, could be Mikola, though.
An affair from which
gold arose. So
why
let's read that
would it
again.
be Nicola? They don't have a child's body at all.
Nicola kind of spoke in the beginning.
I don't
Okay,
know
so it's
why
not even
anyone
just like
got
we're going to show you
confused.
Nicola, we're showing you what Nicola is talking about. And Nicola is talking about the beginning. This is so, like... This looks like a birth, guys.
And up in church.
Like, there's blood, and they're taking something out of it. This is a birth.
The seduction and the
At the
betrayal.
beginning, there was seduction and betrayal.
Oh, damn, you fat bastard.
And all of that
An affair from which gold
is what would make gold arise. Okay. So that's how... I think...
Shit, dude. I gotta walk
Doesn't
behind him.
America wear jewelry like this?
Yeah.
And yeah, for sure, Rune Arc, absolutely, without a doubt. I think that this is how they forged the Great Runes, right? My question is, like, what is she pulling these out of? America, like, weave together the runes, so cool. It is really fucking cool. I think it's the Glowmite Queen she takes the thread out of, just going,
Yeah, that was my theory.
Like, this looks like Volcano Manor situation, right? So gold was born, as was Shadow, two sides of the same coin. And I mean, think about it. When you fight, after you kill Tanith at, like, Rykard's corpse,
yeah.
the Crucible Knight comes and fights you. Like, there's a lot of Crucible stuff going on at Volcano Manor like this. And look how this is golden, and then on the outsides, it's, like, very shadowy and dark. She's using the Crucible to create the Erd Tree. Yeah, I mean, making the Erd Tree, making the runes, maybe the Erd Tree makes more sense. Because aren't some of the runes, like, from Outer Gods?
What followed was a war unseen.
So, okay, so when she decided we're not doing any more of this primordial crucible stuff, we're gonna start the Gold Order. We're gonna do the Erd Tree. We're gonna make some runes. There was a war.
Trying to pep smack me? You got a pep named Slickback? Best back the fuck up, bitch.
One that could never be put to song.
Did he look like a bitch? I don't. You best come correct.
I don't recognize these clothes. One that can never be put to song. Which kind of makes it seem like it's something that's, like, forgotten to history. My tinfoil hat theory is that Mesmerize Nicholas Shadow. That's, I had a similar thought when I saw the first trailer. I still think that Mesmer is maybe the missing sibling, but if that's true, like, this timeline is kind of funky. But I guess it depends when everyone was born to begin with. He looks like a demigod sibling, though. Is this water, guys? Is this water back here?
The tyranny of...
Now, who is this? I keep expecting to, like, find a way to connect this back to Moog.
One second.
And, like, Formless Mother and Bloodflame and stuff, but I
gotta see the screen.
I don't know.
I can't see what she's talking about, so I'm gonna pull her out to
There
my
he
other screen.
goes, impaling once again.
Fucking degen.
Something that's, like, forgotten to history.
One second. Okay, we'll move her over here. Okay, now I can see that shit better. Okay, back to the game.
The tinfoil hat theory is that Mesmer is Nicholas Shadow. That's I had a similar thought.
I hate
when
that.
I
it's just lame.
saw the first trailer.
That would be lame.
I still think that Mesmer is maybe the missing sibling, but if that's true, like, this timeline is kind of funky. But I guess it depends.
Is Mesmer just a mere fucking shadow? Who
He
gives a
looks
fuck?
like a demigod sibling,
That's stupid.
though. Is this water, guys? Is this water back here?
That would be the worst reveal ever. Oh, he's a shadow of Mikola for no reason.
Who is this?
And he's just not his own person.
I keep expecting to, like, find a way to connect this back to Moog.
and like Formless Mother and Blood Flame and stuff, but I don't know. There he goes.
Like any variation of,
once
well, this
again.
person isn't really this person, but this person is another person.
This is so
That just fucks up the story.
This is
Because
so cool.
then America or Mikola can just be anybody. They're everybody and no one. Like, who gives a fuck, man?
Look at these guys.
This just makes the story
These
worse.
guys, and he's like, that's right. I impaled. Impale me. What? I wonder what city this is.
Bitch city? Mother.
Guys, I'm even more confused about the timeline now. So I guess, okay, America, from the Primordial Crucible, she's like, I'll take that.
What am I
Makes the
stuck?
Earth Tree. But at the same time, Shadow is created. So, like, Lands Between is created, where we are, where we know. But also, like, this world is created, maybe? Is that, do you guys think that tracks? And in this world that's created, is where Mesmer's like, I'm about to fuck shit up. I guess we will impale the trolls on the mountaintops. Well, that was Deathlight. Right? Like, I don't know if I agree with that. Golden Staff is the shape of America crucified. Hi, Dr. D!
Not really. That's a bit
What
forced.
is up, Raiders? Hi, Pro Monster. Hi, Buchanan. Y'all, please follow my friend Dr. D.
Oh, I know
Legend.
Dr. D.
The gold staff is the shape of America
I know
crucified.
her.
Okay.
I didn't know she was into the Elden Ring.
This is? Oh, like this. We discussed America grabbing those threads from the Godskin-assy. Godskin-assy? So what is this? I mean, it's definitely vagine. It does look like Godskin, doesn't it? And like, what's this? And don't say the clitoris.
Well, we already said that.
Glowmite Queen was in charge of the Godskin? I don't
This is
remember.
back in fucking
Was she?
biology
Guys,
again.
I don't remember enough about the Glowmite Queen. Can we go over that really quick?
Who is the Glowmite Queen? If you're like me, this is
She
a
a
question
hoe
you
who owed
never
me
asked
money.
through your entire first life. You had never heard any dialogue, read any audio descriptions, or held the attention span before I the source.
She was the leader of the Godskins. Oh. The speculation was that Melina was connected to her somehow. I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. People were saying that she was the Glowmite Queen. Is her scar ever explained?
Be the Glowmite Queen.
Me? I've said.
Melina's a
There's
good
so much
candidate
one-eyed...
for Glowmite Queen.
Because the one-eyed scarred thing here makes me think of the image that FromSoft just released of, like,
Yeah, Mesmer has
with the
that
hair
closed
coming out
eye
of the
too.
one eye. Because this, too, is like...
And
I
Randy
mean,
does.
like, this is like fallopian tube, uterus.
Oh, it's
you
an
know?
image of
The way
Godwin.
that this posture is,
Looks like
it does
Godwin.
look weird. Like, I definitely
But
think
it
there's
looks
more
like
to this
fallopian
image, but
tube shape.
you can also kind of see, like, a
posies
weird
of-
scar. I don't know. That makes me think it's Godwin. Their foot's out.
And the
And yeah,
ovaries,
the
I should
Omen
say.
horns are a whole other thing. Like, Omen, like, it's very crucible-y. Like, maybe this is some kind of primordial crucible mother. I don't know. They did start
fuck?
killing
I got
Omens
off
after
target.
the Earth Tree, I believe. I don't think they were
Maybe
always
get hit 'cause the
prejudiced
fucking
against them.
target came up.
Maybe what we'll learn in Shadow of the Earth Tree is like why they became prejudiced against the Omen. The life from the primordial crucible was chaotic and blends
It's
together
a
into
racist.
pieces drawing the lines between all
That's
forms
why.
of life. Yeah. Which is why I hesitate that this is Godwin, but I also agree that it looks like Godwin. Maybe Godwin just fell in the primordial crucible juice. Features of the crucible were considered divine originally. I think America purged all things
Oh, he
divine
poked me
before the
through the
Luminary
pepper
would
with a
change the
bitch.
narrative. That's true. I forgot about the whole Godskin thing with the Glowmite Queen. That seems more significant now to me. And this could be, yeah, America being like, hello, may I take some of your threads of life?
The seduction.
America was like, "Can I see the
and
manager?"
betrayal.
It's so...
And she saw the
This is such
manager,
a weird image.
and they gave her all of her, the pampering she could
Foot
get.
shot.
An affair from which gold arose.
This shot is so cool! It's so cool!
Oh yeah, that
The
is
stark difference of like the shadow and the gold is so... This is like a Renaissance painting.
It is, I agree.
And so too
It
was
is like a
Shadow
fucking
born.
moving painting.
And like, look at like
It's
gold up
gorgeous.
top, shadow down below, as above, so below. Has anybody like found these armor sets, or maybe these are new? And like, is this a little symbol? Are these Mesmer's knights? I mean, they've got the right tools for impaling.
One that could
We have the
never
dragon armor, whatever
These
they
have to
call
be
it.
Mesmer's knights. Looks like a little plate for
Seems
snacks.
like that's what he's wearing.
You think it's another Godskin on the stairs? Looks like an apostle.
I hate when my target just comes off.
Maybe. I won't say no. The build figure looks like it has horns. Like this? I don't know, y'all. What I will say is this figure is very
fucking
ambiguous.
goddamn
And
benches?
I think they're purposefully keeping it ambiguous. It either means nothing or it means a lot. The gold accents on the cloak are interesting to me because doesn't Moog have accents on the cloak like this? I don't think
Yeah,
this
they might be
being
Omen
looks big
relevant.
enough to be Moog. Like, what if Moog succeeded in the dynasty, but it just lives in the land of shadow? Oh, it could be a Sanguine Noble! That makes more sense.
Oh, yeah.
And it makes sense
That's probably-
considering their duty. These guys move on the stairs like the elves when they come to fight at Helm's Deep. I'm talking about. I thought these were fire snakes, but I think they might just be like fire incantations zooming around.
As long as we can
I
do
was
that
really
move, I
hyper-analyzing
don't
stuff
care
in
what they
this
are.
scene, and I don't think I can pick out anything. Other than, like, there's, like, hands. These look like hands.
Hit him
This
through
could
the
be
pillar 'cause he's a
anybody.
cheating
Yes,
asshole.
actually, I said that before you rated.
Oh, I can't hit
We
him
were
through
trying
the
to figure out,
pillar.
like, where it
Isn't that nice?
was. I was like, this is water. Dude, are they going to explain this cloud?
Cloud is in Final
Maybe
Fantasy VII.
Shadow Realm City is in the cloud, but not
What else do
really.
you wanna
because it's
know?
kind of in a different... You think that's where the Shadowlands are? I mean, that would explain Ocean, and it's circled by the 6 divine towers. True.
Oh, shit.
And what is this person holding?
I had no idea they were going to dash. Some kind of banner.
Are they holding a war banner? Or something small in their hands right there? So this is like a Mesmer battle thing, maybe? Or no, it's attacking Mesmer.
Yeah.
So this...
You didn't notice that
So
part?
this thing... Guys, hear me out. So this thing, when we saw in the other trailer and looked at it closely, it has omen horns, it has all these features that make it look crucible-y, right? And it's attacking Mesmer here. Which means that, like, Mesmer and the Crucible are at odds. So I think when we were talking about Mesmer, like, wanting to purge the Crucible stuff, that tracks. That is, like, an important... I think this is important. Whoa. This could be the Glowmite Queen. Now I'm really thinking that's what that is. And you know, if it is Melina, whether or not that's the truth, she does say how she was
Why
burned.
couldn't I
Maybe she
fucking
was
dash,
burned
dude? What the fuck?
not by like Malakath or somebody, but in this war. This part of the song sounds like another song in Elden Ring, but what one is it?
Oh, it blocked me from hitting him through the pillar. Good. I love it.
It's not Moe's, is it? It's not, but is it?
Oh, one poke just kills me.
I don't think it's this one either. Do you think it's the Godskin music I'm thinking of?
Just nice music.
This chorus here.
We do know that the Elden Beast music plays in the show.
Chills.
Or part of it does.
So then that.
No, this is new music. The Mesmer music is
Oh,
new.
that's exactly what I'm thinking of.
And so kindly Nicola would
We're gonna be
abandon
hearing that in this boss
everything.
battle.
There's so much to look at. Like this. These have to be new sites of grace, right?
Look at this poison, big old
So it
dude.
seems like grace isn't a thing here at
Poison.
all.
His golden flesh.
I could also make him go to sleep. Just fuck him. I didn't get the other guy with sleep pot, so I'm just gonna fight him.
So he ends up as Saint Trina. The urge tree comes from the primordial crucible, and later the Elden is sent by an outer god to impose order, creating the Golden Order. Is this war establishing the Golden Order? That could be. And that's why Mesmer is like killing the Crucible and the primordial stuff. This is like one of the coolest shots ever. This is so detailed and cool.
Oh yeah, the road, the gold and the ground. Yeah, that's pretty good. She rubs
I
her
wonder
finger
if
in the
these
ground.
are like some of the NPCs that we see, or that they like talk about who's following us into the portal or whatever. You know what I mean? Sacrificing his fate as an Empyrean and becomes Saint Trina could be cool. That's interesting. Do others sacrifice their Empyrean-ness when they have their alter ego, though? Wasn't Ronnie going to be an Empyrean? I thought she was.
This is like...
And then cast her body away.
This is just
some fan
theory. It's not something confirmed.
Yes, it was Elden Beast music in the beginning, which kind of makes me think you guys are onto something about it being... Yeah. I think you're right, you guys. Here's what I think. America gets the threads to make the Golden Order, and maybe like put together the runes that make up the Elden Ring, because
the Elden Ring already existed. It crash landed on the planet.
Will
she didn't make it.
Has allowed her to do this. I don't know how or why. And then the fact that the Elden Beast music is playing makes me think that even more. Because this is Elden
Pretty sure the Elden Ring existed before America was even born.
And the betrayal.
It's been here since the beginning of time. In that world.
Which is one of my favorite themes in the whole game.
An affair for which...
Like, the Elden Beast is like the primordial life. It predates all life. So it's been here longer than anything.
And so too was Shadow born.
At least on that planet.
Yeah. Which then makes sense.
The outer space
she makes
is
the Golden
another
Order
story. But
from the Crucible. Then there was war. And Mesmer is like, fuck you guys, we're making the Golden Order. You're Omen, you're not divine anymore, only the Golden Order is divine. And that's kind of why, I mean, what does he say to her in that first trailer? Mother, what's the lordship to the sanction of the Muslim?
Mother, what
does that mean
shall
again?
truly lordship sanction one so
like,
bereft of light?
Would you really trust this guy?
That's what he says.
That's what I got. And who is he talking about?
I've memorized that down to the T.
Or us.
Because it's such a good line.
Yeah, us. Yeah, you really want to match with this fool. Okay. Yeah, so maybe I stand by my analysis here.
Don't fucking touch me, bitch.
While watching this many times. Is that the Greater Will probably let her do this with the threads. And like make the Golden Order, make the Elden Ring, maybe. Help make the Elden Ring. Which... Again, Elden Beast music, like, Elden Beast was sent directly by the Greater Will.
Hit you through the
Maybe Mesmer's related to America in a more fraternal way versus being her child, yeah. Imagine the final bosses of Mesmer America.
I hate that you can poke me through the goddamn.
I want to fight America so bad. I've said that since the beginning. Okay, so maybe they're siblings. Maybe America and Mesmer are siblings.
That would be cool.
And if that's the case, when Mesmer says mother, would you really trust this person?
But America's just not a fighter, it seems, so it wouldn't make sense for her to fight
my queen is Melina.
Like
they clearly put our trust in us. Melina is like, you are going to be Elden Lord, and I'm going to make sure of it. So Mesmer's like, why do you trust this person? Why do you want them to be Elden Lord? That checks out. Maybe Mesmer was passed over for America. That could totally be. Without grace. I didn't even think twice about this. But grace.
And so kindly Nicola
would
have
target them with
everything.
these goddamn pillars, man.
Nicola would abandon everything. What does that mean? Their goldenness? Being a god? Yeah.
Their body. That's everything, I would say. Okay, we can do the horizontal swipe through that. He's about to roll. Oh, he's not rolling yet. He's about to now.
And why? Because of Mesmer? Why? What, like...
Shit, I don't know.
Squat up. This part of the music is so good.
We got him down the second floor.
We're following Nicola. We're following Miklo, who sacrificed his godhood to stop Mesmer, to punish Mesmer. Join us. I'm going to find out if Miklo's actually kind or not. Seems like some maybe possibly he is really good.
Godhood,
but they also
he's
portray him as a sinister in the first trailer. Yeah. If they just make him be all good and golden and happy, I'll be disappointed. But the fact that he sacrifices his goldenness makes me think like that's also why he gets evil. I hope they make Miklo a little better. I think I'll be disappointed.
We have no indicator that he's evil.
I think Miklo went to the Shadowlands to learn about his mom and the forging of the Elden or of the Erdtree because he himself wanted to create
just
Erdtree.
saying that.
That's right.
For no reason.
With the
nothing to go on.
with
They're
the
just
Howl
saying
Tree,
he's
we
evil.
saw him do a lot of that. I think he conceals himself in the Shadowlands the same tree, and Mesmer doesn't detect his grace. Just go. I think that tracks really. I think that's great. I guess I agree. Should we watch it one more time? I'll probably notice something else and pause it.
Why don't I run out of stamina?
So. Yes, intersect. He helped write the premise for the game.
The kind spoke of the beginning.
Why don't I have fucking
The
stamina?
seduction and the betrayal.
I don't get it.
Seduction. Here we go again. I knew I was gonna pause it. Seduction could be like the greater will seduces America to betray the primordial crucible and make the Golden Order. Dr. D, same.
An affair for which
The birth and motherly image feels very Miyazaki, 100%. 100%. Very Bloodborne.
old rose.
I think she was seduced by the Elden Beast or its concept. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, that makes more sense than her creating the
And
fucking
so
Elden
too
Ring.
with
which
shadows.
is
I thought the
Elden
same,
Beast.
Shayla.
She didn't create the
The
Elden Beast.
snaky bracelet.
What
Elden Beast
followed
existed
was a
before her.
war unseen.
I'm being seduced right now. So much fire imagery in this.
One that could never be put to song. Purge.
No big boy.
The tyranny of
We're gonna
less
abuse these
slain.
pillars. Motherfucker.
So why is it tyranny? Because they're betraying, like, the old Crucible? Is that why? Yeah, this.
Of course.
And, like, when do we see a long cape like that? Ever. Ever. Maybe nowhere. Mesmer's doing America's dirty work, and she's hiding it from the Golden Order. Yeah. Tyranny, because they're on these are the sins of the Golden Order. 100%, yeah.
I am wide awake.
The golden eyes, I think, are interesting. A lot of people say, like, dragon incantation stuff, but couldn't it also be frenzy? And the long nails. Look at his nails.
Could it? I don't
He's
know.
frenzy because he's looking at you. Oh my god.
He's not using frenzy though, so no. It makes more sense to be a dragon,
I say that every time it comes up.
which is blasphemous, just like the snakes are. I mean, well, dragons aren't blasphemous,
This
but
effect is so
dragon
cool. It makes me
communion
think of
is blasphemous.
Twilight Princess. I wonder if we'll go up in the tree at all.
And that was a dragon
Check the
communion.
crush on Mesmer. One.
And so kindly Mikula would abandon everything.
It's like my stamina doesn't exist when he's doing this shit.
I wonder if
His gold
I wonder if the song in the background is in Latin and if it means anything.
and flesh.
Probably
His
does. I'm
blinding
pretty sure it
strength.
does.
Even his fate.
This is so crazy that they would just be like, yep, here you guys go. Here you guys go.
But we are not different.
Hell yeah, okay, so that's a good choice.
We choose to follow.
They might not even be using lyrics and just
I wonder if
chanting.
these are anybody we know already. Their armors don't look that familiar. This
They're new.
sword kind of does.
That are new.
I don't know. Also, another cool thing about the logo It's like it's the golden and then the shadow. Like it's literally what they talk about. Okay, final takeaways. What do you guys think? I'm excited. I think I honestly might stream this on release day. I cannot wait to be impaled by 18 inches of memory. I did approve of the collector's edition, and I will show you guys when it comes. I think I have a really decent idea of what I think is happening, honestly. But I could be wrong, you know? Yeah, I think I might play the Friday release and then wait until Monday to keep going. Because I don't usually stream weekends all the time. I don't know. I'll play it by ear. It'll be the Friday of release or the Monday after for the first day.
Oh, is that the day it's coming out?
I'll look at it when it gets closer. But my plan is to do my original save file on Monday immediately. And then I also have my level 1 character that I
this stamina ring
will
isn't helping at
100%
all.
be going through the DLC with. Like, probably right after.
It's like, it acts like I don't have
YouTube,
stamina.
thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, comment. Guys, 07's to YouTube. We're going to play Elden Ring on stream, as you probably gathered. This game is going to be probably really good.
I'm not going to subscribe. Well, actually, I already did, because her name is Capricorn, and, you know, I got to support the Capricorns. Because I am one. But anyway, what else we got? Who's this? Oh, excuse me. I had to burp. I got hiccups from my drink. Oh, man. Got hiccups bad. Need to burp. One moment. This is Lucy Robin. Here's someone else. Because that video is really short. I need something long to stall with. Lyric? Okay. They got a long enough one.
Well.
Long enough video, I mean. Okay.
What up? We're locked in today's chat. We're locked in. Story trailer. Out of nowhere. I mean, it's cinematic. I don't really care, bro. The cinematic trailers, even the Elden Ring announcement trailer was awesome, and it was CGI.
Yeah.
Alright. I mean, it was meh. That's great, bro. Some of us are watching it for the first time now. Alright, shove your opinion up your ass.
It was meh. Oh, what a loser.
Let's see here. Peggy 16.
To see your WoW trailer or whatever the fuck you think is amazing.
Nicola the
Probably does
Kind
play WoW.
spoke of the beginning.
Fucking nerd.
The seduction and the betrayal. An affair for which
God.
gold
Well, I gotta jump. This is
Oh my god.
and so too was Shadow born.
I'm wondering how weak are they to combustion? It might
What
just be
followed was a war unseen.
Try it out. This is catch flame.
One that could
Not combustion,
never
I forgot.
Yo.
purge without grace or honor. The tyranny of Messmer's flame.
Not the best damage, but it can be alright.
That's Stormvale?
No. In a different world.
Arlindale?
And so kindly Nicola would abandon
The architecture looks
everything.
a lot like Landale, so most likely part of Landale that was severed off. Maybe.
His golden flesh, his blinding strength, even his fate.
Man,
But we are not different.
what a bitch. I might just have to use the, yeah, we're gonna use it.
We choose the follow. Will you walk with us?
Oh, it won't let me put it on this. Oh, here it is.
God damn. I mean, it wasn't the best cinematic, sure, but like, it's still fucking cool. I mean,
Still
whatever.
fucking slap.
I need a Vatia video
I don't know what he's
fucking 10-hour
talking about. It was a
breakdown
good
on what the
trailer.
fuck we just saw.
I mean, everyone can have their opinion. I thought it was great. He's looking at Vati. You need Vati's
It looks like he's
an
pulling out the thread from like a womb. Or is this the egg where Mikola is? It reminds me of like a C-section or some shit. It looks like
Maybe I didn't hear him right. Let me rewind what he said.
Like,
He said something about
unless
Vati.
it is the egg. I mean, whatever. I need a Vatia video fucking 10-hour breakdown on what the fuck we just saw.
Oh, that's someone from the chat. Okay. Yeah, they can't have their own opinion. They need Vati to tell them, I guess.
It looks like he's pulling out the thread from like a womb. Or is this the egg where Mikola is?
Nah, no.
It reminds me of like a C-section or some shit. It looks like
that's a. Mikola was not born in that scene.
Unless it is the
He wasn't
egg.
born yet.
Yeah, it looks like the
That's
rune is
telling
being
them-
yanked out. And like a bunch of fucking corpses. This is Mikola, and this is what the thread. So he's pulling out the rune. Is that
it's
America?
America.
God damn it, man.
It's America.
That is America.
Yeah.
Shit, yo, I forgot. Hold on. America and Mikola. Mikola is who Mog kidnaps. Who's America again?
What? What? Okay. How does this
the
happen?
Son of America, the Queen.
How do you not know who America is if you played the game? Who's that?
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. America and Radagon. True. Yes. America. She's the yes. Okay, true. Mikola. Sure, this is her son, but she's pulling out what seems to be a thread rune. Unless all the runes are like fucking malleable, they look hard. I guess it can be fucking string like hair. And then she's climbing a bloody fucking what is this? Is this fucking Mikola in the egg?
Yeah. Well, that's a new theory.
It is, right?
No, it's a telling of the beginning, so I doubt Mikola was born yet.
It doesn't mean anything. It does, bro. What the fuck is that? I'm assuming it is. The whole DLC is you're following Mikola, and you're gonna enter through Mog's room, and you see his fucking hand. So she's pulling this. I gotta watch this again.
Mikola the Kind spoke of the beginning.
It's a little muffled in some parts.
The seduction and the betrayal. An affair from which gold arose. And so too was Shadow born.
Yeah, I wonder. Huh. So that means America knew of the shadow of the Erd Tree, of course, but I wonder. I thought the shadow of the Erd Tree, or the Shadow Realm, is where Mikola goes. So it was like a hidden realm. So it was known. People, they knew about it. The gods knew about it. She sealed the Shadow Realm. Maybe this is the entrance to the Shadow Realm, and the rune she's using...
Possibly.
It looks like she's actually sealing it, because this is like a gateway, and she's using the rune to close the quartz door.
She seals it with a veil.
But if you look at it, it looks like she's sealing it from the in the shadow. So she's in it, and she's sealing it, because it's fucking sunny on the other side. So why is she sealing it from that side? I wonder, wouldn't she fucking seal it from the other side?
What followed was a war unseen. One that could never be put to song.
I think that's just a shot of a soldier impaled.
The tyranny of Messmer's flame.
So this is all taking place in Lindell. And what's also interesting is this boss that they showed in-game footage of is attacking Mesmer. I wonder who this is. Yeah, I thought he was on Mesmer's side. He's literally trying to fucking kill him. Maybe he tamed him. With the flame. I wonder... He's clearly likes impaling people. These three seem very notable. Unless these are the dogs. I can't tell. That looks like a beast head. It looks like there's like a dog snout type thing. Right? It kind of looks like three beasts. Similar. So,
And so kindly Mikula would abandon everything. His golden flesh, his blinding strength, even his fate. But we are not the good. We choose the good.
I'm assuming
God
these
damn
are
it.
all the
I
targets.
thought that was a
These are
pillar
all the
behind me.
boss.
It is a pillar. What the fuck? Why couldn't I roll behind it though? I gotta move everything out of the way of the fucking pillar. I got cock blocked for no reason.
I'm curious where that rune is shown. I mean, this rune is shown many times. I don't know what the significance is, unless this is like Mikula's rune.
Mikula's rune? Yeah, the moon.
I'm curious, yeah, maybe this is Mikula's rune.
Yeah. It is.
This is him calling people. Yeah, like the Nia bonfire in the Shadow Realm is what this is gonna look like. I also, what's interesting is, I thought Mikula was fucking kidnapped by Mog. Did he abandon? How did he was fucking forced to abandon his fate? He was fucking a prisoner. Only his body. He abandoned his body. So it seems like then he abandoned... What seems to me he's being selfless to then go into the Shadow Realm to, I guess, fucking save the Shadow. Yeah, Yeah, we need a fucking Vati video.
No, we don't. You can figure shit out pretty
I need a Vati
simply
video on
from
this.
watching that yourself. You
Nah,
don't need
bro,
Vati.
this guy, he's a spirit like Ronnie.
And Vati doesn't even fucking know. He doesn't have the full story.
Yeah, I mean, shit.
You can
I love
theorize
Elden
like you.
Ring lore. All the subtleties and shit. The only time it gets confusing is because all the names are so similar. That's the main thing. Sometimes
Only
it's
with
like,
the
oh
family.
shit, Nicola, America, there's like 5
But
other
they start with
fucking
an M.
M's. Godwin, Godric, God, some other shit I missed. So it's like,
That's how it was in Dark
Godric,
Souls,
Godwin,
though.
Godwin,
Gwen,
Godric,
Gwendolyn,
Godwin.
and Guinevere.
I think there's like 2 others. America, Godfrey. Yeah, so it's easy to like fuck up the gods. Godskin duos.
Okay.
Radagon, Renala,
Godskin duos. I'm fighting one.
Ronnie, they're all like fucking close to each other. But the
Godskin
G's and the
duos are
M's
related.
are all over the
Yeah.
place.
To
Yeah,
Godfrey,
man, I mean, sure, wasn't there like greatest cinematic, but whatever, bro. That was still fucking awesome.
Oh,
I wonder if they detailed any more information about the DLC, or is it just kind of like the story?
They did.
I'm curious if the Impaler will be the last boss. I don't think he's the coolest villain. He's like a okay
We
villain.
don't know much about
He's
him.
not like, I wasn't like, oh shit, this guy's crazy. So maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it will be kind of
There's
like
some good lines in the original trailer. Seems pretty cool so far.
Yeah, it's too obvious.
We don't usually get
You think so?
intelligent
Mikola, you're
talking
gonna have to
bosses
fight?
in these
I could
games.
see you needing to fight Mikola.
Other than Yerman.
Yeah, I guess it would be obvious. He might have like a second form. True, I did notice that theme song was the Elden Beast theme song. There was a reason why the Elden Beast's theme song was playing. That was a nice little surprise. I didn't think we were gonna see that shit.
You did it twice, huh? Motherfucker. Is he done? I guess he's done. What time is it? We still got plenty of time. Alright. I'm gonna keep going until I feel like it. We've only been streaming for 2 hours. It's at least another hour. I might go to Radon now. I know I can get Big Boy over here. I just need to avoid his role and stop being impatient.
What up? What up?
Wait. Who else is here? Why is this game so cruel? Elden Ring? I don't know. Maybe you need to get good. No, I don't say that to newbies so much. Only people who were like, the hardest boss ever made. Oh, is this Millennia? This is a video somebody made about Millennia. In that Maxor video series is pretty good. It's called, I think it's called Inaccurate Lore of Elden Ring or something. I forgot what it's called, but it's pretty good. I laughed at it. The recent one was pretty good too. He just released it. Okay. I'm going to tell my kids this is Dark Souls? Oh, the crab game. Okay. Crab Souls is amazing. Whose video is this? Oh, it's Penguin Zero. It's moist. Dark Souls. Oh, let's listen to this. This sounds cool. They're from Manly Reviews. Let's listen to it.
Dark Souls. I love Dark Souls. I love this thing more than Tom Brady loved his own son. If you wonder why every YouTuber with a checkmark seems to eventually make a video about this thing, it's because even though we all play the same game, everyone walks away with it with a different story to tell. It's a deeply personalized experience where the hardest enemy you have to defeat in the game is yourself.
Okay.
And the camera. I've never seen a game so recommended by other people and so scheduled to addictive that it resembles a prescription. Most community members will even recommend it for a whole host of mental debuffs, and it makes sense. The gameplay of Dark Souls is a digital cold plunge, and its lore and characters are more inspirational than most Goggins podcast clips.
I was running by a graveyard. I was fat. And I ran by a graveyard, and I looked out there. I was fat. And I'm running a 300-pound man thinking, man,
but its themes of overcoming adversity in the face of defeat go far beyond just its characters. On launch, the original Dark Souls came out of butt-fuck nowhere with nothing to its name, in one of the most fragile states a video game can release it. Only for
fuck nowhere, that's not how you say it.
Titles in the last 13
but I guess that's
years it created a genre, it created
unique
a culture,
way.
It created
say that too, I guess.
jobs for people to just talk about its story on the internet. It inspired hundreds of Souls-like games. Even some good ones. But despite all of its legacy, the Souls franchise wouldn't even exist if it weren't for Sony cock-watching the success of the Xbox 360 during the heat of the console wars and trying to rip off one of their best-selling games. And failed. We'll get to that in a second. But before we get into how this franchise almost didn't even exist and that Demon's Souls actually wasn't created by Miyazaki at the start, I recently had surgery and I live in America. So... you already know it's sponsor time. Big thanks to RGX. I actually reached out to them for them to pay me for an ad slot, because I don't know about you guys, but Chrome has been completely shitting itself lately. Ever since YouTube went formula with premium, I feel like everything's been lagging out constantly, despite the fact that
I don't use Chrome. Chrome's been lagging for me forever.
So I decided to try out Opera GX because all my YouTube buddies are using it, and they make a lot of kind of mildly unfunny mid-tier jokes on Twitter. And as a mindless consumer, that means something to me. I gotta say, I've been daily driving it for about a couple weeks now.
It's a fork of a Chrome.
It's pretty great.
It's just better than Chrome.
I mean, like it's a web browser, so like they'll go fucking crazy. Or maybe you should, because Opera kind of logs the fuck out of Chrome. So let me tell you why. First off, it actually runs YouTube faster than Chrome with like 1/10 of the resources, so it's finally nice to click a YouTube video without it like post-migrating. But that's just the start. Say you're someone on the spectrum and you're watching one of the 6-hour-long YouTube video essays on a title that you don't care about and will probably still watch twice. If you open up another tab while it's blank, that window will not show up anywhere on your desktop that you can resize and reposition.
Motherfucker.
That is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Chrome doesn't do that. I don't know why. It gets even better. Opera has these things called mods, which allow you to completely overhaul the look and feel of the browser with things like custom animations, backgrounds, shaders, sounds that play whenever you open or close tabs or type. It's nice, but it's not the pipe sound effect.
Twice, this motherfucker.
You can customize the stuff to your heart's content. You can even install a Dark Souls mod, because that's the theme of the video, and maybe life's not depressing enough for you. Opera is loaded with tons of other features too. They have all these app integrations with Discord and Twitter.
I'm
they also have this little AI assistant thing for all your quirky little AI needs.
Fire doesn't do as much damage as the
Also, every single plugin that works in Chrome also works in Opera, so the transition is super easy. And lastly, Opera actually lets you limit CPU and RAM usage, which is crazy that other programs don't do this. This is like, Opera's fantastic. I'm telling you, Opera GX comes highly regarded, so don't be retarded. So download it today for free using the link down in the description. Thank you guys for being patient. Now that I have my medical bills paid, we can go on to the rest of the video. I've been wanting to talk about this game ever since 2015, and to this day, it is still my second favorite experience I've ever had that involves this amount of dudes and loading. The first being Dark Souls.
I don't go see doctors anymore, because they always make me worse.
Series. The first Dark Souls was the one that originally popped my humanity.
I'll go to a doctor for my trauma, and that's about it. I'll pay out of pocket. No insurance.
Oh man, this sure was not the case when this romantic little thing barely stumbled out into the consoles half finished and into the hands of basically no one. I know you may not remember it, but this hairline does not forget, okay? This game was not the instant hood classic we all thought it was. Which sounds insane to say given the way it's talked about, but in reality, most people didn't give a fuck about the Dark Souls franchise until 5 years after its initial release, once Bloodborne gave everyone the fresh words for the formula. As someone who's played this shit
we don't have the right insurance.
Dark Souls really was the Demon Souls of Dark Souls.
To pay out of pocket anyway.
Even despite all the jank and shortcomings,
might as well just cut out the middleman of paying these monthly fees and just do that anyway. I'd probably save more money, and with the premiums going on. I mean, the deductibles going up,
So
yeah.
made this game so
You'll
special
end
that
up
made
paying
everyone
less
run
by
out
paying
and not buy
directly
it
out
until
of
5 years after its release. Well, it's actually a pretty complicated story,
Like
but
this
to understand
way,
what was
at the
going on
rate
around
that
the
they're
time of its
going,
launch, we have to go back to the year 2011. Welcome to the year 2011. Shit's bitchin'. The United States just took out Osama bin Laden, but that's not stopping the game industry from dropping
That's the
bombs
story.
like Skyrim, the official release of Minecraft, Dark Souls, Portal 2, etc. However, over the last several years, there's been growing discomfort over the reduction in gaming
Zero Dark
difficulty, with
30,
many people
30
placing the blame
bullshit
directly
story.
on casual players and
Totally
the companies
not
trying
made
to
up
cater to
for
it.
anything.
And while that's definitely a factor, in reality, our entire understanding of what a video game could be has radically changed over the course of the 2000s. Games are becoming longer with a heavier emphasis on story.
I was in the
and narrative,
military,
which has
so
played kind of an unnatural part
my
of the experience.
skepticism is warranted. It's a lot of lying.
Regenerate. Hell, even the term game
In our
over feels like
houses
something your
of
mom would say when describing the Nintendo Station
politics
360.
in
These
general.
aren't necessarily bad things per se, but for a lot of people, that sense of accomplishment that came from a solid challenge and a shared experience with friends had kind of evaporated. At the very same time, though, we saw a massive increase in the inclusion of difficulty sliders, which makes a lot of sense. Rarely does one size ever fit all, and every place
They don't need
but some were
difficulty
implemented
sliders.
vastly better than
The
others.
game,
sometimes
it's
acting
just
as a
built into
band-aid
the
for shitty
gameplay.
developments
Just
and
level up.
lazy balancing. Well, it did give players
Give
the options.
special-
Most people didn't even know
get
what the
new
options
items
were. To this day, I still
that'll,
don't
like,
even
make
know
the
what
game
easy,
easier for
medium,
you.
or hard even translates to half.
Like, I ended up getting the Graveyard
enemies,
Sword
the amount of
early in
health
my
they have,
playthrough.
their accuracy, the
And most of the
protection,
game,
amount of items that drop,
you know, it took
puzzles,
me- it got
like,
me
if it
through most
does,
of the
by
game.
how much? How the fuck am I, a new player to a game, supposed to know what best suits the gameplay? I much prefer having competent devs kind of figure that out for me, or at least change in-game things to match what difficulty I want. That's just me, though. Obviously, a lot of games greatly benefit from this, but back then, people got super heated over this shit. As a result, this created fertile soil for a game that had greater difficulty to release around this time and carve itself a niche
You're so
player.
fabulous
y'all
with
know
your
what's
little
coming
poses
next.
there.
Ooh, big twist, Dark Souls, the big hard game that spank all the people in the zippers and whips. It isn't that much is painfully obvious. But it's really not the full picture.
You're going
It's
places.
just the tip of the iceberg. For us to understand where this game is even coming from,
Straight
we have to
into
go
the
all the way
trash
back
can.
to the start of the
That
7th
performance is
generation
awful.
console wars back in 2000.
Oh god, he didn't like my review. Apparently,
It all starts with this one game called Demon's Soul. No, stop! Every motherfucker on YouTube gets this wrong. See, most people think that the director of the Soul series, Miyazaki, just decided one day to create Demon's Souls and then, we were off to the races.
Did I
In
listen to
reality,
this
the game
before?
was already being
I don't care, I'm
developed
listening
before
to
he
it again.
entered the picture while he was playing with the Gundams in the corner. The real story of Demon's Souls starts with the release of the Xbox 360. And it is killing Sony. When
Yeah,
developing
that
the
was back when
360,
Xbox
Microsoft
was
made the
a
decision
bit
to
more
streamline
respected.
80% of the creation of the console. And while it gave it a pretty nasty case of ringworm, it ended up beating
Because,
Sony to market by a whole year, which was a
Kaz
huge
Hirai made
blow
a
of
stupid
finances.
comment
After all, you're more likely to buy
that
the
they were
console that your friends already own,
about
and that's
the
especially
price,
true with the way they were pushing
raising the
Xbox
prices.
Live.
PlayStation 3
If that wasn't enough, the console was also half the price of the PS3 whenever that came
It was
out.
like a-
Keep in mind, we were
What do
still,
you
for
pay,
the most
like,
part, paying for
the
music
price of a
credit.
PC
During
at the
this
time,
people
a
typically
good
only bought
PC too.
one console, and you'll
For
have
a
seen
fucking
started paying themselves. By the
PS3,
time the PS3 made its way to the market,
that
it had already
was
priced itself out of the hands of many potential
nowhere
buyers.
near
It
as
didn't
good.
help that it also had no games on launch. Shocker. At this early on, Sony is doing everything in their power to increase their market share, so they start spying on Microsoft with some ideas. One franchise in particular catches their eye, which goes by the name of the Elder Scrolls. They see that Oblivion is kicking ass and taking names, and they want a piece of that open-world action RPG shitty-ass AI market share.
I love dogs. Doesn't everyone?
Oh,
So they start shopping around in search of some jolly cooperation with a studio that can create something similar when they spot a medieval dark fantasy series called Kingsfield by FromSoft. So they hit them up, they slip them a crisp $20 bill on the table and say, "We want a game that can dethrone Oblivion." So they shake hands and begin to create their own version of the Elder Scrolls.
I mean, they were
start
similar.
building
They
this
were
thing
both
about
first-person
years worth
games.
of development,
Kingsfield was
congratulations,
jank
piece of
compared
shit.
to Elder
It's so
Scrolls.
bad they can't even get their prototypes to run. Hey, FromSoft, ever happened to that Oblivion clone that we commissioned for you guys that was supposed to be pushing the boundaries of what video games can physically do in this day and age? Sir, we're the studio that made this.
What was that? Oh, Kingsfield. Yeah.
Yeah, that's our bad. It's so hopeless that Sony and FromSoft just agreed to write the whole thing off as a silly round and move on. Sony ended up getting the rights to Oblivion anyway, so it worked out for them. However, word eventually makes its way to this guy named Miyazaki, who takes one look at the wreckage and sees the opportunity of a lifetime. So he asks around to see if he can take a point on the game and lead it into a different direction and actually turn this thing into something marketable. The beauty part is, though, even though he's never done something like this, if the project fails, no one gives a fuck. It's the perfect environment for him to spitball ideas with absolutely nothing to lose. So he dumps the idea of it being an Oblivion clone and goes in almost the opposite direction. He wanted to recreate that feeling of exploring a foreign world where you feel cautious with every step you take, and create an action RPG that didn't rely on simple quest completion as the reward. He instead set out to make the gameplay itself feel satisfying, compelling players to strategize and improve in order to overcome challenges by making the game extremely punishing, placing the brunt of the responsibility on the player's skill itself instead of just artificial difficulty. So when you die in the game, you don't think it's just because the game is poorly designed and unjust. Rather, I screwed up because I'm a dumbass and I need to be more careful. This turned death into a very teachable moment for the player. Something you really want to avoid doing because it halves your fucking health. Harvard fared my ass. Miyazaki definitely went a little too far on this one, and even he knew it. Because when it came time for him to release the game to Sony executives, he actually had to hide the fact that when you die, you lose half your health. And he was actually legitimately worried that he had made the game too hard once they had finally put everything together. But oops, too late, time to test the game out. They finally released it at the Tokyo Game Show, and people just kinda hate it. In one of the most historical moments of the franchise, the Sony executive even went on record after playing it and said this is an unbelievably bad game. And to his credit, this is something that everyone says when they try the Souls games out the first time. It's just, you gotta get it out of your system. We'll get back to this. But the president is so ticked off by the game that he doesn't even let them release it outside of the country. It finally launches officially in Japan, and it just completely tanks, which always seems to be the case no matter what game I'm talking about on this channel. I swear, those motherfuckers only play like Pokemon and Pachinko. But people start importing the game to the West, and the sales numbers grow to about 100,000. Nothing huge here, but it's much better from 20K, and pretty good for word of mouth. From South are actually kind of happy about it, and people start asking for an official release in the States, so Atlas, yes, that Atlas,
the goat. Oh yeah, we did listen to this already. Let's get off of this then. We already did listen to this. Fuck it. Alright. Elden Ring. Oh, that's old. Okay. Why is Dark Souls a masterpiece? Let's look at this. This is
What's this? Dark Souls? Well, I've heard of it. They
this
say
is
it's
really
pretty hard.
old. This is from 5 years ago. Let's watch it anyway, then.
But at this point in time, the
It's the
game's
Axe Man.
difficulty hasn't been beaten like a dead horse by crappy, unoriginal game journalists. And for those reasons, I'll check it out.
Yeah. I don't know what the fuck happened. Dude. That music timing was perfect, too. Why did I do that?
The fuck did I just play?
He played a masterpiece. Dark Souls is the
My
GOAT.
exact reaction upon starting and completing Dark Souls for the first time. It was the most bizarre feeling I had gotten after beating a video game. I felt accomplished, yet empty at the same time. I felt like I hadn't even scratched the surface, like I just played through the whole thing wearing a blindfold. I must have missed something.
Someone's
something
done
that
that.
explains what the hell
Probably
I
was
was
a cheating
doing. I didn't know it at the
challenge.
time, or at any point during my first playthrough, but there was much more to Dark Souls than I could have imagined. Something that has since become so muddled within games journalism, almost like an unintentional smear campaign that's made people forget what truly mattered when it came to Dark Souls, and what gave it such a well-known reputation in the first place. Being able to sum up a video game in the words, "It's popular because it's hard, LOL, laugh out loud," is a nice little gimmick if you want to market the game easily to a bunch of people, but it doesn't elaborate on much of anything. Dark Souls has been heralded as one of the greatest games of all time. That is an exclusive club. It's got
That's just me getting tired.
spawned a whole franchise
I'm
and
gonna-
style of
I'm
games.
gonna
Sorry,
soldier
Demon
through
Souls. And has captivated mainstream and hardcore audiences alike. It's done all these things for good reason, and while a good challenge, a hard-to-master difficulty, and a cryptic, open-ended story all played a big role in its success, it doesn't truly explain why Dark Souls 1 is so awesome. And that's exactly what I'm here to do. There's been an argument against video games for many years, claiming they aren't true art. Now, if I were to choose one game that I'd force those dickbags to sit down and play from start to finish in hopes of changing their minds, my first choice is Dark Souls and Bioshock 1. Because this is
Bioshock 1,
experience
sure.
you could show an English
That's a
teacher
good one.
or a poetry class,
One of
and
my
they'd be
favorites.
like, yeah.
The only one they should have made, I
copies
think.
of this exact
Should have never made
experience, but in
sequels.
novel form, so we can go to extreme
Prequels.
lengthy discussions about the
None of them.
significance of the pendant. Seriously, that's one of the game's biggest appeals. Just like poems and certain stories, the meaning you can find within is not always in plain sight. Dark Souls is no different because you have to take a close look at it to understand what the fuck it's trying to say and what in God's name is going on. Without abstract thinking and interpretation, you won't be able to get much out of Dark Souls' story. From the moment you start in the Undead Asylum to the final showdown with literally Zeus but cooler, the motivations and reasoning behind what you're doing is kept very vague. You're dropped into this huge forsaken world with no real direction except to ring a bell.
There are actually 2 bells of awakening.
Or ring 2 bells, I guess. You might even breeze through the whole game without taking a second to look around, talk to people, or read item descriptions. Anyways, at surface value, one might look at Dark Souls and think, ugh, just another generic RPG with dragons, knights, swords, and magic. How many times have we seen that? I bet it was made by British people, too. But then once you start getting into it, it's like, wait a minute, why am I ringing 2 bells? Who the fuck's this asshole? What the shit? Oh, there's demons now? Okay. Man, what's with the goddamn poison? What is this place? I was just in a swamp killing giant mosquitoes, then I find this huge tree, and now I'm on this enormous lake fighting a 7-headed dragon.
I know, it's so fucking metal.
clams? What am I playing right now?
It's good
what
shit.
the hell is that? Why does that dragon look so weird? Why is it breathing crystals and shit? Ah! And it's this idea of not knowing. These questions in your mind that you don't have answers for. This feeling of being out of the loop on everything but the bare essentials that creates this undying morbid curiosity. Shit's pretty fucked up in Mordran, and you want to find out why. That's one of Dark Souls' greatest strengths, is it's so atypical in its presentation. Most mainstream games are pretty straightforward in this regard because they need to have a story that babies can understand, which makes it all the more puzzling how Dark Souls was able to appeal to such a wide audience, because you can't go through the game and not be constantly asking questions. The plot is minimalistic, and it's up to the player to come to their own conclusions. You fill in the blanks, and there's a fuck ton of blanks to fill in. You see this, Sea of Thieves? That's how you create your own fun. Now, there's always the possibility that by making your story vague and confusing, it ends up making no sense and being vague and confusing. But then there's the other side where you have a unclear story, but the experience is so enchanting it makes you want to know more. Would you like to know more? And that's what Dark Souls accomplishes, so it doesn't fall into the plain old just bad storytelling category. But let's pull back this layer of dragon scales and actually look at what Dark Souls offers within its narrative. Let's take a look at the depth within the onion.
You know what? I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go try Radon before I end the stream. I might have a better chance with him.
I think anytime there's a series of books,
Well, my time is off,
movies,
so I am
TV
very
shows,
tired.
video games, or whatever, and there's
So
enough
I'm dying
interest
like
in the
that.
lore and background of that series to fuel 1.2 million subscribers into a YouTube channel, I think it's safe to say people are interested. The amount of fan theories and lore explanation videos on this series should tell you all you need to know about how involved gamers are with the story. An interesting tidbit I read was the idea that the item descriptions in-game are actually the player character's thoughts. Probably not true, but some items become much more interesting when you look at things that way. And that's the great thing about interpretive stories, the way you look at it. Dark Souls is fucking deep. You don't need me to tell you that. And there's plenty of reasons why. So many that I don't have time to explain them all. Well, for one, ambient music is basically non-existent. There's a total of 4 areas in the entire game, excluding boss battles, where music plays. Firelink Shrine, Daughters of Chaos Bonfire, Guinevere's Hot and Steamy Bedroom, and Ash Lake. If you played through Dark Souls, then you know each one of these areas are vitally important, and the music creates a unique tone and feeling for each one. Sadness and sorrow, hope and faith,
Oh man, getting really tired.
magnificence and awe.
Yeah, Lake of Ash is really good.
Warm
Ash
and
Lake.
welcoming. This lack of music creates a feeling of isolation for the majority of the experience. This means there's nothing to distract you from the world you're in. The only things that follow you through Lordran are the sound of your footsteps and clanking armor, and it makes those moments when you hear music much more powerful as a result. The combat is deep too, and we'll talk about that a bit later, but what I find to be the single greatest thing about Dark Souls is how everything is connected. Not just in map layout, but in items, bosses, enemies, NPCs, they all connect together to form a greater whole. Take the classic gameplay element of dying and respawning. In pretty much every other video game except Bioshock, once again, the concept of respawning has little to no explanation at all, because it's just a video game. But in Dark Souls, death and respawns aren't just gameplay mechanics, they're part of the story. You are an undead, branded with the
That
dark
game
side,
kind of creeped me out at the end.
die.
Like, he got the bad ending. Your sister turns into like a
But each
monster.
death brings you closer to hollowing, a
I
concept
thought that was
we'll
the
explore
creepiest
later
shit.
on. So you're linked to
Even
the
though
fire, you are linked to the flame.
the witch
and as
turned
long as
hot.
there are
I thought that was
bonfires,
a
you will
bad
keep coming
trade-off.
back.
The sisters
It's not
are
often you see a game that
fucked up
has
monster now.
justification
That's
for its
sad.
gameplay mechanics written into its lore. Let me ask you, have you ever thought about what Estus actually is and why it heals you? Most people probably saw it as any other item that restores health, because it's just a video game. Hearts, potions, medkits, food, magical green herbs that definitely isn't weed, a harmonious melody. Games never explain why you get healed from this shit, because it really doesn't matter. But in Dark Souls, it does. Estus is bottled fire, people. That's why it refills at the bonfire. You capture the
Who the hell
flame
is
in your
that?
flask. Dark Souls
Oh,
is
that's
about
a summon.
disparity between life and death,
Well,
fire and darkness, and the
I'm gonna try
bonfires
this one
are
more
beacons
time.
of life.
I'm apparently too
Miracles
sleepy.
come from Gwyn and his faithful knights.
I'm
Pyromancy
falling
comes
asleep
from the Witch of
whenever I
Isolate
get over
and her
here.
Daughters of Chaos. And sorcery comes from
Whenever
Seek
I'm
the Dankless.
fighting a boss
These
now, I'm just
gameplay
falling
tools have
asleep.
reason to be in the game beyond their
I think
immediate
I am
use.
too tired.
You could run through
This is
the
what
list
happens
of
when you don't
items,
go to bed for
mechanics,
like 2
tools, and
days.
weapons to connect each
So
one
we're
of
gonna
them
have to just
as
go to
pieces
bed.
to form the greater whole of Dark Souls' universe,
I might not
story,
stream
and lore.
tomorrow.
And that's the beauty of this game. That's where
Just
the
so I can
depth
get
comes
even
from.
more sleep than usual. Like, I'm talking like when I usually sleep, I'm gonna get more sleep than even that.
Now, the
Let's get
story
to it
meaning
and see
and
how we
purpose
do.
behind Dark Souls is
Even though
riddled
we're
with
sleepy.
obscurity, and there's plenty of room for different interpretations. And while I could turn this video into something that discusses nothing but the lore for 40 plus minutes,
Yeah,
I'm
do
more
that.
or less going to highlight what I think are the most important themes or messages that Dark Souls tries to hammer home. The things I learned. I encourage you to share your own thoughts as
Learning
well.
you.
So we have the basic premise of the player being an undead in an asylum, where they're all corralled to await the end of the world.
This is your fate.
Well, that's a pretty
What the hell is
shitty
that?
fate
Wait
right
a minute.
there. But homeboy Oscar breaks you out because there's a prophecy. The chosen undead, who's supposed to travel to Lordran and ring the bells of awakening. And when you do that...
The fate of the undead thou shalt know.
So right off the bat, we want to know what's going to happen to the undead. What's going to happen to us, all these NPCs, all these, roaming hollows? That question is put into your mind from the very beginning. Cutscenes are rare, and none are more jam-packed with information than the opening. What this scene showcases is how man came to be, how they became gods, how they took the world by storm and destroyed the previous regime to create their own. When fire was created, we learned of our existence. We strove to discover, explore, and build, and we found soul within the flame, metaphorically and physically. Incidentally, you You could look at the real-world discovery of fire by primitive man as arguably the most revolutionary thing to happen in the history of human beings. Once we found fire, the world was forever changed around us.
But remember one thing. Always fear the flame, lest you be devoured by it and lose yourself.
You're getting a little better.
To see that happen again.
So much of what Dark Souls presents is relatable to the real world. You can interpret the idea of prolonging the Age of Fire or ushering in the Age of Dark as a message on the rise and fall of civilizations. For example, the Roman Empire thrived for centuries, but eventually its flames faded, and despite their best efforts to keep the Age of Romans alive, nothing could stop the coming dark. How long will our age last?
What do you mean?
The old Roman deities were cast aside, replaced with a new god,
there's
and
always
his
this
son. Just as you can become the harbinger of a new age in Dark Souls.
Why it
the Age
changed
of Dark,
in the first place.
The typical Lord of Darkness trope.
It's
in
always
fantasy
done
stories
to like
works better
support
in the world of
some
Lordran
current day
than most
argument
other
or
stories.
some
I really
political
enjoy the ambiguity of the endings
type of
because it's great
campaign
for
in the modern day.
speculation. But what I saw in
Not
these
necessarily
endings is that
accurate
they are rooted
to
in
what was
polar
actually going
opposite
on in
ideas.
Rome, in
That of
ancient Rome.
self-sacrifice and self-preservation.
It's kind of annoying.
Martyrdom or apathy.
But anyway.
But as we all know,
Apathy is death.
maybe Dark Souls is meant to portray the calamity and hopelessness of knowing the empire, the civilization you serve, the place you call home is coming to an end. How do you deal with the coming dread? In this sense, the undead and the dark could be seen as the always present threat of a tide of people who are bound to one day replace your way of life with their own.
Oh, heretic, swathed in dark, an eternal curse upon thee.
This theme of different ages collapsing and rising is present in both sequels, which means it's definitely something the designers wanted you to think about. One theme that sticks out very well in the Dark Souls experience is perseverance. Individually, the undead, or humans, are weak, fragile creatures. The enemies that don't outmatch you in size will simply outnumber you. Throughout the game, you encounter several bodies with helpful items, and while most of them could be looked at as simply items left by the developers for the player, I see a deeper meaning.
No, I don't like
because
that.
why is it that most every item you find
They
is
put
tied to a
items
corpse?
in places
Isn't that
for
strange?
reasons.
It's because
They're
every
not
one of those
random.
things was
From
left
Office
behind
do shit
by the
randomly.
person who died there.
Not all the time,
Individually,
anyway.
you suck. But as more and more undead travel to fulfill the prophecy, as undead are caught in the crossfire of all these colliding forces, at some point or another they finally succumb. So as you journey through Lordran, you encounter greater
Okay.
souls, better items,
Yeah.
stronger weapons.
Time to end it. Okay, it's almost 3 now, so it's time to end it. Yeah, I'm just gonna sleep tomorrow. But then when I come back, I'll be less sleepy when I do a stream. I guess I'll stream on, well, not Friday. I guess if I do stream on Friday, it'll be like early in the evening. It won't be late at night. I'll like stream late at night on a Friday. But anyway. Oh, I'm so tired. But yeah, we didn't make any progress today. But we're gonna kill bosses next week, or not next week, the next stream. Because I'm getting better at dodging, and especially when I got the little shadow stuff, that does help. But I'm not when I'm tired, so we'll do better next time. Anyway, if anyone sees this, or the future me sees this, have a good night at work. Yeah, I sleep at work sometimes, whatever.